hut, hike.
Welcome to the Into the Wild podcast. It is a Monday, Wild Monday. OKC, the Oklahoma City Thunder, win the NBA Finals, and that's all we'll talk about basketball for the foreseeable future, at least in 2025. We'll see what 26 has to offer, but that's basically all that we have. We have a jam-packed show for you guys. As always, you can find us at Into the Wild NFL on Instagram and at the Dream Sportsnet on TikTok. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Wase and Adil. Guys, say hello to the peoples. Hi. We have a jam-packed show for you guys today. We're going to start out comparing our all-quarter century NFL team to the wild list that is the ESPN rankings, which some of it has the players that we have. Some of it has just, I don't know what they were thinking, but we'll get into that. And then after that, we have over-under predictions based on the Vegas win totals for the NFC. Next week, we'll do the AFC, but it'll be a fun little segment where the three of us will decide whether we agree for an over for those win projections or an under. We have Start Bench Cut, of course, SBC, one of our favorite segments, one of our most popular and most viewed TikTok clips.
Oh, for real?
We'll do the NFC West today, and we have bold predictions along with our early, and we started with fantasy last week, and we know it's early. It's still June, but our early players to avoid, followed by in honor of OKC winning the NBA Finals and the town of Oklahoma City being able to celebrate a championship victory. We thought it would be fun to do a presentation, if you will, of our own personalities, sharing the most euphoric sports games of our entire lives. The games that brought us the most joy and the ones that were the most memorable.
Nice.
It's a feel-good Monday. But before we start, I have to say, justice for Jeremiah. What happened on Love Island last night was absolutely disgusting. We are a pro Jeremiah podcast.
I don't even watch Love Island.
What does that mean? Who's Jeremiah?
It's trash TV that he loves.
Yes.
You know who I'm familiar with? I'm familiar with Huda. Whoever
I
this
think we all are. Just 'cause
I've
she's
never
like,
seen a picture of her, but it's just everything.
Huda is the girl that Jeremiah was with. Yesterday, Jeremiah got voted off of Love Island, and it's sickening that she gets to stay on after 3 days of just verbal abuse from my boy, and he had to leave.
Wow.
And after that terrible Game 7 that we watched, yesterday might have been one of the worst nights in television history.
Oh my god, dude!
What's
You're
the
very
goal of Love
invested into
Island?
that. Yeah.
What's the goal of Love Island?
To
To find love.
I thought the goal was that these guys are like cheating on each other or something like that.
No, just find
That's a
love,
byproduct
pull
of the
birds.
show?
Yeah, because you're yeah.
Yeah, I think you're thinking Bachelors in Paradise or something like that.
Anyway, speaking of Bachelors in Paradise, let's talk about the all-quarter century team. So we went over Adil's defense last week. 2 weeks ago, Wase and I presented our offenses, which we did a draft for, and I wanted to take some time to take that and compare it to what ESPN put out. If my producer, Talha, could be so kind to share the offensive images that we see. So obviously they had Tom Brady. In our exercise, we excluded Tom Brady because that was such an easy pick. But their two quarterbacks that they went with were what I thought were the obvious ones. Well, my co-host Wase didn't think was that obvious, but Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes with the honorable mentions of Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees.
Well, okay, so I wasn't so far off talking about.
I thought Peyton Manning was pretty much locked
but
in.
I'm just like, okay, we're not gonna go back into it.
But you can't
talent-wise,
those five are probably anybody's five,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we are going to do an exercise in a couple weeks where we go over the quarterbacks of the last 20 years, and those are everyone's top five almost.
Easily.
Running backs just boggles my mind because the first running back that they have here is like when they posted this picture, I just wanted to throw up because they had Priest Holmes as their number one running back.
Really? Over LT?
Over LT.
Over AP? No Derrick Henry. No AP. Is Derrick Henry on the list?
So they have Priest Holmes, Christian McCaffrey,
What the hell?
and Derrick Henry.
They don't have LaDainian Tomlinson and Adrian Peterson on the list?
They had LT as a practice squad candidate.
What the hell? Bro, you're giving me shit
Priest-
for choosing
wait,
Aaron
hold on.
Rodgers as my
Priest-
quarterback, but
Priest
Holmes
Holmes'
number one
peak?
is crazy.
Priest Holmes' peak was
Priest-
great, but I think it
It
was
was
kind
like
of that
3
what if.
years.
It was a
was
what
like
if
3
of like
years.
could he stay healthy? Did he have what did he like
No,
retired
no.
early
He's
after
really-
injuries or something?
No, he was a late bloomer, number one, and then like he had like 2 or 3 great seasons, got paid, and then that
It
injured,
was
and that
that
was it.
01 to 03 season,
Yeah,
and that was it. That was literally
that's
it. We're talking about a 3-year span when you have a guy that won the MVP after tearing his
Wow.
ACL, a guy that single-handedly carried his team to the playoffs, a guy that averaged more yards per carry than his quarterback averaged yards per attempt.
Crazy.
On the flip side, a guy that scored 29 touchdowns in a singular season and won MVP. I mean,
Xander.
and you got Christian McCaffrey over these guys, which is also
Crazy.
crazy.
I mean, CMC's been putting up
Jinx.
a great run. I wouldn't have been mad at CMC in there as like one of the
I'm
three.
CMC
not mad at CMC
But
or Derek to be in
Priest-
there, but over LT and Adrian
Yeah,
Peterson
it's
is crazy.
That's bad.
Which one of these
bad.
running backs won an
Thank
MVP?
you.
That's the one thing that I want to know.
None.
None.
Not Derrick Henry. They're all offensive player of the year. I think Priest Holmes may have been offensive player of the year.
Yeah, it was.
But I
Oh,
don't think he was
Wase.
MVP.
Wase.
What?
Dude, our boy, Aaron Schatz. He's the one who put this together. This is the DVOA guy.
Oh my God.
This
Oh
is
my
Aaron
God.
Schatz and Seth
My
Walder.
God.
Did he use like
You
like
probably used
efficiency
EPA.
grade stuff like
yeah,
oh my
metrics and
God.
efficiency. No.
This is why you
Over
can't
LT?
go with advanced metrics over the eye test.
Yeah, that's crazy,
Not
man.
over
That's
the
so
eye
crazy.
test, but it could complement it.
Yeah.
And just
Compliment it for sure, but the fact that if LT and AP are not on this list, that
It's
is
wrong.
solely based on
Yeah,
analytics.
it's wrong.
And it's just incorrect.
Even above those
Oh.
like McCaffrey and Derrick Henry, Sean Alexander has like a means to be on that list as well too. Who else? Who's an MVP?
Love Bell had a couple
Le'Veon
great
Bell was
seasons.
soft.
He was
I-
really good.
I think it was like 4 years. and that was it.
Where does Priest Holmes rank for us? Because I'm
In the
thinking AP,
decade?
I'm thinking LT, I'm thinking even like a LaShawn McCoy, CJ2K.
Yeah.
Like these are names that come to mind. A Todd Gurley in his prime.
Oh, Todd Gurley was nasty.
Todd Gurley in his prime, arguably.
He was a
better
good
than
what if
Priest
story.
Holmes.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a great
Oh my
what if
God.
story. Who else? I mean, I feel like there's so many. David Johnson.
David Johnson
was
prime.
nice,
Johnson's
man.
2-year peak, yeah.
He was great. Saquon's prime.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, we're talking about guys like Clint
Over
Portis I
Saquon,
could throw out there,
geez.
Sean Alexander, Barry Johnson.
Chris Johnson. Yeah. I can't put Priest Holmes in
Ridiculous.
there. For 3 years. It's crazy.
ESPN, man, do better.
Yeah, man.
So for fullbacks, they have Kyle Juszczyk. We didn't go fullbacks. Wide receivers. This is interesting because I like this. It's a pretty good mix of our list, except for the fact
They
that
have
had,
like 7
The big
receivers.
omission.
No?
they did 6 receivers.
Yeah, that's
they
a lot.
Big
go
omission.
Randy Moss.
Right. Okay.
We had Randy Moss. I had Randy Moss. Calvin Johnson, who
Right.
you had. Julio Jones,
Who
who
you
I
had.
had. T.O.
Yeah, which
We
makes
didn't
sense.
have.
Which makes sense.
We didn't have.
We didn't have him, but
neither of
he
us
should
had.
be on the list. Yeah.
Marvin Harrison.
Should be on the list. Hall of
Not a
Famer.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And Justin Jefferson.
No
So-
AB.
All 3 of mine are on this list.
No AB is. There's no way AB's on
and
that
AB's
list.
on the practice squad. with
This is
Andre
recency
Johnson.
bias. This is recency
That's
bias. Justin Jefferson's
crazy.
got 3 years in this quarter century.
Yeah, but JJ's like he's on a
got
Hall of Fame.
5.
He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Like he's coming, and we already know that he's like gonna be. An
I
all-time
just think, especially the way that they went about this list, like their criteria seems like it's more of like a peak or a prime versus like the longevity of career. So that's why I'll give it some grace. But JJ over AB is kind of wild.
AB
Honestly,
was one of the 2 best wide receivers in the league for 6 years. Straight.
Yeah, I mean, even longer. I mean, because like there's like his early years, he was injury prone. Like I think he like missed like
Yeah.
2 or 3 games per season, and he was still putting up numbers. He was still cracking 1,000 yards, still getting like 80+ receptions. That's crazy, man. AB is literally one of the best we've seen in our generation. Insane. Oh, but who do we take out? If we're putting AB in, I think you either take out Marvin.
I think you take out Marvin.
or JJ, yeah.
I feel like you would take out Marvin.
Just because Marvin like played a lot, and like he had like
Would you
half
take
of the
out?
season in the
Would
90s.
you put
Wait,
in-
I would
Would-
reward
would
the
Marvin-
longevity for Marvin. Like, give me
you would
JJ.
reward- What about
Take out JJ.
prime?
Yeah, I'd take out JJ and put and
Because if
I'd
we're
take
taking out Marvin, I feel like there's so many guys I would put over Marvin. Not so many, but a couple I can think of off the dome. Like Larry Fitzgerald,
Fair.
I'd put in
Oh,
over.
yeah, Larry's not on that list.
Yeah,
That's
Larry's not on that
wild.
Fair.
That's
fair.
crazy, man. I think they're trying to give love to like the new guys to be like, oh, this guy has next, maybe. But
I mean, it's just JJ. There's nobody else that's new on here.
yeah, but one guy like CMC shouldn't be on the list. It's kind of crazy, to be honest.
Crazy. Tight ends, pretty chalk. Rob Gronkowski, Travis Kelce, Tony G,
Tony G.
and then an honorable mention to Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
Well, we talked
Yeah.
about it a little bit,
Yeah.
but pretty simple stuff. Left tackles, Joe Thomas, and our
Yeah.
honorable mention, Trent Williams.
Over Jonathan Ogden?
Yeah.
Dude, he's the greatest left tackle of all time.
Yeah. They did not. In the honorable mentions, you have Jordan Mailata
What the
and
hell?
Walter Jones.
Bro, see, the thing
I
is,
got both my tackles on this list.
the problem is these guys are using numbers that are obviously that cater towards the generation that played in that era where they were doing these analytics versus
There's
Jonathan
not even
Ogden
that-
and Walter Jones and Orlando Pace were not put on no EPA, no
Yeah,
PFF.
yeah.
There wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
these analytics out there. So
But you got to know ball.
it's the same thing as like LaDainian Thompson not be on the list or Adrian Peterson. Like that is like the wildest
not.
thing.
That's-
To not have Jonathan Ogden, he's literally the best left tackle.
In a macro perspective, yes, but there is tons of data and tons of advanced metrics and StatCast and all this stuff that came during or before the time of AP and LT. At least Jonathan Ogden's time, there
No,
was like
what
they
was
weren't looking into OTs
blocking grades
and
and
blocking
whatnot.
grades and stuff
But,
like that.
but what kind of analytics were there?
Yo,
for Adrian Peterson?
Here's the little blurb here. Listen, read. In his 11 pro seasons with the mostly woe-begone Browns, Thomas failed to reach the Pro Bowl only one time. His 6 first-team All-Pro selections are 2 more than any tackle in that span, making him a slam dunk choice. So that was a resume. That was a resume pick.
That was a very easy choice for me at left tackle.
No, he's
I
a
took
great
Joe
left
Thomas,
tackle. He's a
and
Hall of Famer. No one's taking
But
that away
I
from
think
him.
Jordan Mailata does not deserve to be mentioned before Jonathan
that's what I'm
Ogden.
saying. Like this list is kind of maybe
Trent
it's meant
Williams to
be
me also
clickbaity.
seems very like I get Trent Williams is great, but Ogden is your prototypical like all-time left
So
tackle.
And
Trent Williams, they're saying with Trent Williams, it's more about his longevity combined with how he got better seemingly as he aged.
Yeah, because I mean with offensive linemen in general, you're not looking at peaks or primes. There's not really a great way to see that.
But Ogden has everyone beating that. Like, he was good from right from the get-go till all the way to the end of his career.
Yeah.
And I know he started a lot in the 90s too, but like even into the 2000s, he was a great left tackle. That's crazy. That's wild.
At left guards, they put Alan Finecka and Steve Hutchinson. Steve Hutchinson, I don't think we talked about what we thought about. And then they mentioned both of our picks, Logan Mankins and Quentin Nelson. Center, they went with my pick, Jason Kelsey. And they gave love to Marquise Pouncey, which is
Marquise
wild
Pouncey was
to
really
me.
good, though.
He was really good, but
Pretty good.
all-time...
Over Jeff Saturday is kind of wild. Over Olin Kreutz is kind of wild. Over Kevin Mawe is kind of wild. Over
That was just like the practice squad mention that they had for Pouncey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that was just one of their favorites.
Both. No, actually, you didn't pick Zach Martin. I was surprised about that.
I chose Larry Allen.
You chose Larry Allen. They went with Zach Martin and Marshall Yanda, who was my pick, and Jari Evans as the practice squad. No mention of Larry Allen, but I think they probably are looking at Larry Allen's career to be more in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then right tackles, Lane Johnson, Willie Anderson, and Tristan Wirfs.
But Tristan Wirfs is
as
a
an honorable mention.
Tackle now. I mean, he played only 1 year as left tackle, I think.
That's wild. No mention of Orlando Pace.
There's just not a lot of right tackles. Orlando Pace was a left tackle.
But he played right tackle.
Yeah, later in his career when they thought he lost it, but he wasn't really dominant as a right tackle.
Crazy. But most of our offensive linemen got in. I think all of mine got in.
No, who'd you have a right tackle? I had Lane.
Walter Jones, and he was their left tackle honorable mention.
Walter Jones was a left. So Walter Jones got mentioned over Jonathan Ogden?
Yeah.
They played around the same span.
Yeah. That's why
dumb.
I
These
don't
guys
understand
are dumb. They don't know ball.
Crazy. So let's move over to the defense. Adil's defense. At edge rusher, Adil, they had DeMarcus Ware, Jared Allen, Myles Garrett, Julius Peppers.
Yeah.
With honorable mentions to TJ Watt and Michael Strahan.
I had Jared Allen on my list. That was there. I think that he annoyed the hell out of me with that comment, like, oh, nobody wants to come to Detroit, whatever the hell. So I excluded him from the list for that fucking reason. But Jared Allen is great.
You chose JJ Watt.
He got JJ Watt and Myles Garrett.
JJ's more of an interior defensive line guy, though.
Where's JJ Watt? What the hell?
You just have him as DL.
Versatile DL.
Yeah,
versatile
he plays 5 and 3 tech, plays outside a little bit.
I feel like Myles Garrett is the shoe in here. Marcus Ware, longevity-wise, I can see it.
Oh, even peak, man. DeMarcus Ware was a dog.
DeMarcus Ware was
amazing.
Level of Myles Garrett?
No, I think Myles Garrett is going to be like one of the greatest.
No, yeah, he'll be one of the greatest edges of all time.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Great. Yeah.
So DeMarcus Ware was actually going to be a Detroit Lion. So when he was coming out of the draft in, I think it was it 2005 or 2004?
5, yeah.
So apparently, Matt Millen had the phone picked up, and he was about to call in DeMarcus Ware before one of the scouts of the Lions made a last-ditch effort to say, "Hey, if we had both Mike Williams and Roy Williams on our team, we'd be an unstoppable offense because we had Mike Martz running the offense that year." So as he was about to call DeMarcus Ware, he put the phone down and this last-ditch effort to go out and get some offensive firepower. He picked up the phone again and called Mike Williams.
That's the same Mike Williams that passed away, right, from the construction accident? Yeah,
Oh shoot, I have
The
no
one of the
idea.
Bucks.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, our R.I.P. Mike Williams. Demarcus Ware makes sense. Yeah, Demarcus
So
Ware up there.
those-
Is Vaughn and Khalil Mack not up there as edges?
No.
What? Vaughn is not up there?
Is he honorable
You know what?
mention?
Michael Strahan's or
No.
the honorable mentions. At DT, obviously, Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Calais Campbell. Longevity I get, but I don't think he was ever considered to be like a top 2 DT in the league.
No, I'm surprised Chris Jones isn't on there.
Chris Jones is on here.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
He is as a idea.
Aaron
Like
Donald,
then-
Chris Jones,
An honorable mention to Kevin Williams and Cam
Hold on.
Hayward, who I think
Cam Hayward.
I
solid.
think both of them were better than Calais Campbell. Like I'm taking Kevin Williams over Calais Campbell all day.
I had Kevin Williams on that list too. I thought that I was gonna phone him in
Minnesota,
with
right?
you guys. Yeah, from Minnesota. Because I just fucking hated seeing him all over the field. Every single time the Lions played him, Kevin Williams made 8 plays against him.
Honestly, Tommy Harris's peak was so dominant. I would have put him in there just to put him in there.
What?
Tommy Harris,
No way.
dude, he was so good. He was so dominant as a 3-tech. It's not even a debate. If you're going to put Priest Holmes on there, Tommy Harris deserves to be there.
If you're putting Priest Holmes on there, you should have
Yeah.
15 players in each category. Although, like we mentioned, had Aaron Donald and Vince Wilfork. ESPN
Nice.
has Vince Wilfork in as nose tackle.
Yeah.
So Adil
Solid.
clears completely in the defensive line category.
Those were layups. I mean,
I think
they're
one of also over Calais Campbell, I would take Richard Seymour.
Yeah,
both
Richard
Kevin Williams
Seymour,
and Richard
yeah.
Seymour I would have over
yeah. I
Calais
mean, I can
Campbell.
see that happening. Richard
even
Seymour.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones over Calais Campbell easily.
No, Chris Jones over Calais Campbell, but I would take Richard Seymour over Chris Jones,
Yeah.
especially because that's more of a complete career.
I don't know about that.
Chris
Chris
Jones-
Jones is. Yeah, Chris Jones has
Chris
got
Jones, Hall of Famer, multiple-time all-team, first-team All-Pro.
Yeah, 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. Chris Jones has the better.
Chris
resume.
Jones. I would
Oh.
say Chris Jones is up there over me.
I don't want to say that because Richard Seymour played for the Patriots.
Yeah, he won 3 rings. Ray Lewis leads the linebackers core. Oh, they did give a versatile D lineman award to J.J. Watt,
Yeah.
obviously because he can
Okay.
play every single
Nice.
type of
Mhm.
D line you want. Ray Lewis is the linebacker. Bobby Wagner, Brian Urlacher, Levante David,
Yeah, Levante David was like that. One of the best
Levante
little
David
linebackers
is
in the
like
game.
that.
and Derek
Yeah.
Brooks
Okay, so I had my
Derek
linebackers
Brooks
on there too.
as
as an honorable mention.
Derek Brooks is an honorable mention.
Yeah.
He is the greatest will linebacker to ever play the game.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
wait, he's from the Tampa guy, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
the Super Bowl.
I
MVP.
didn't have Derek Brooks even up there, but of course I was just looking at middle
We talked
linebackers
about
only.
Derek Brooks though last week.
As an honorable mention is wild, man. He's literally the greatest will to ever play the game.
Where there's a will, there's a way, and
I'm not
He
willing
made his
to
way
listen to a
to-
stupid ass list, dumbass list.
so Adil clears Ray Lewis, Bobby
Wow.
Wagner, and Luke Kuechly all made his team. At DB corner, we have Darrell Revis and
Sherm.
Sherm
Sherm.
for Adil, and then like he talked about last week, there's Darrell Revis. Champ Bailey is a guy that you wanted to put on the list, but you said that you were too young to watch Champ Bailey.
Yeah, I didn't
Rondé
appreciate
Barber,
Champ Bailey like
Richard
that.
Sherm, and Patrick Peterson,
No Charles Woodson.
with an honorable mention to Jalen Ramsey.
I
We
feel like
also
Charles
talked about-
Woodson wasn't that consistent as a corner, right?
as a pro, right? Yeah.
No, he was. He was defensive player
Not-
of the year.
Okay, yeah, but that was the peak, right? But across the entirety of the career.
No,
If you're-
as a
if
Raider, he
Charles-
was good.
But he was
Hold
better
on.
as a safety than
Hold
he
on,
was
hold
as
on,
a
hold
corner.
on.
Safety, he played like his last 2 or 3 years. He played corner most of his career.
But you're putting him up against Darrell Revis, Sherm, Champ
No,
Bailey,
I'm not doing that.
Rondé, Patrick Peterson. You're saying over
Patrick
them.
Peterson
Over
making
Pat
this
Peterson,
list.
I might put
I
Peterson.
love that. I was the biggest Patrick Peterson
A lot
stan.
of us were. I thought he was gonna be the next week. What's his name? Primetime.
Yeah.
They were the exact same dudes, like ultra talented, ultra athletic guys, great ball skills. But he kind of underperformed.
I think he
this year.
underperformed like crazy if you
yeah.
think about where the hype that he
Yeah.
had entering the league, the fact that he played multiple positions,
Yeah.
punt returner, wide
Wait,
receiver.
underperformed in what way?
Like
Like you
to
were
the
expecting
expectations,
him to
like-
be great?
Do you think Patrick Pete was ever the best corner in the game?
No.
No, but he was probably a top 5 corner for a longer period of time.
Yeah. But then, like, I feel like with the the volatility of corner
Cornerback,
play,
yeah.
like, it's not hard to find yourself in that top 5 mix.
Yeah,
But
Patrick Peterson, because he was one a generational prospect.
Yeah.
They thought he was gonna be the next prime time, and he
played
didn't
wide
end up being that.
receiver,
Yeah.
played
Punt returner. Yeah, it was an
electric.
all-pros.
At safety, Adol's picks Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu, with the
Classic.
honorable mention of Brian Dawkins. You got that, and Earl Thomas, and Charles Woodson cracks the list at safety.
Interesting.
Okay.
And then to round it out, kicker Justin Tucker, obviously, punter Shane Leckler, and kick returner, who else?
Devin
Devin
Hester.
Hester. With an honorable mention to Cordarrelle Patterson and Matthew Slater made a special team, Morgan Cox. This is an interesting list. It's pretty much all chalk and then just like randomly just falls off the rails when
Skill
it comes
positions
to
are
some of the best players of all
awful.
time. So that was a fun little exercise we did. I like our list better than ESPN.
We had to choose more players, I guess, in a way.
We had to choose more players?
Yeah, we got to choose more players.
I mean, they had the same amount of running backs that we did. They had the same amount of
Oh,
receivers that we
we
did.
did 2 running backs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they still didn't get the GOATs. It's crazy.
Yeah, to not have AP and LT is kind of
Wild.
Yeah, throw that list away.
So that's a good segue into our next segment. So what we're going to do here is play a little game, kind of. We're going to each give our takes on the over-unders of the Vegas win totals. So I'm going to read a team's Vegas win total odds, and then we're all going to go thumb up or thumb down for over and under.
Nice.
Let's pull this up. It's going to be just for the NFC today, and then next week we'll do AFC. So without further ado, and we can also go through schedules if you guys want to for some of like, you know, the Bears and the Lions and stuff.
Yeah, we could do that.
Obviously, we're going to start there. So let's start off with Adil's team, the Detroit Lions, over under 10.5 games.
What if we think they're like? Oh wait,
And then if you push, you could do this. Ready? I'm gonna count down from 3, 2, 1. All right. Ready? 3.
What was
2.
the push sign?
Over under line 10.5. What do you mean? What's the question?
Oh,
So
did
what
you
was the
actually
push sign?
Oh, what's the
What was
push?
the
The
push?
plan is this. Yeah, I feel like I'm like in between this.
There is
also.
no push. They can't have 10.5
Yeah, you
wins.
can't have game. Yeah, that's what I'm just like, man. I don't know because they could be a 10-win team. Which I think
So
is
then
likely,
give a take, and then
or an
you
11-win
can back it
team,
up.
which I think is like. I'm just gonna go down just for the sake of being contrarian.
So who do we have? So what was it? Me and the Dream at
So
thumbs up.
Yeah, then Dream put a thumbs up. Yeah.
I put a thumbs up. So Wase is the contrarian. Why don't you explain?
Losing Ben Johnson's a big deal to them, whether they like to admit it or not. They have a whole new coaching staff from the offensive and defensive side. There's going to be some growing pains for them. Obviously, the schedule is one of the toughest in the league. I think the Bears and Lions have the equal amount in terms of like strength of schedule. I think the Lions. I think you guys know who Warren Sharp is. Sharp
Yep.
Analytics. I think
Yep.
he did a dissection of like the Lions schedule, and they have like their net rest days is not like it's like in the lower half of the league in terms of net.
No, it's the highest. Net rest is the highest.
Is it?
Yeah.
Net rest is the highest? Are you sure?
Mhm.
What am I thinking of then?
Yeah.
Okay, well, correct me on that. But despite that, coaching staff is obviously changing. You're losing Frank Ragnow, who's basically like the quarterback of your offensive line. We know the numbers of how the Lions performed with Frank Ragnow versus without him. And, you know, obviously not having a different play caller, you're going to see some growing pains, and I think it's going to take some time to get around it. But I think they're a 10-win team at the very minimum. But I don't think they win 11.
What the hell was that? Why did you wait? Okay, so I understand that you want the whole pessimistic view, and you went down.
I
You're
don't
like,
want
10 win team at the minimum, bro. Why would you say that? It's down. They're gonna be
Because I think they'll
maximum 10
win 10.
wins.
Yeah, I think they'll win 10 games. I mean, it's like, you're right. That's kind of an oxymoron of what I just said. But I think, yeah, just a 10-win team. That's what I think you're at.
Oxymoron.
It could be 10 or 11. I don't think you're more than 11 wins. That's the thing. Like, I'm like in the middle between 10 and 11 wins for you guys.
All things
which makes
considered,
sense.
if you were to go down the entire negative path of what you just said,
Yeah.
that's all fair points, actually. Like, you know, losing your offensive coordinator, replacing the entire coaching staff, losing a very meaningful player on the line, all that stuff is enough reason to go ahead and say there's questions there at the very least. So fair argument there. Not going to argue against that.
Thanks.
Do you want to give your take, or do you want me to go?
My take. Okay, here. I'll do a rebuttal to everything Wasi said. So yes, they replaced their entire coaching staff, but the person who was there to hire the coaching staff to begin with, Dan Campbell, is still there. And I think he made great choices out there. He was able to bring in players that are obviously players coaches. That's the whole thing. Culture's already been established, and I think that's not going anywhere. So as far as that's concerned, I think the Dream just got up and left. He's like, I don't care. Screw the lights. The other thing, losing Frank Ragnow. Yes, so the split stats between how Lions perform in comparison when Frank Ragnow is on the field versus when he's not is also when the Lions kind of had some issues on the interior offensive line from a depth perspective. I think the Lions did address that in meaningful ways. Christian Mahogany looked like he was doing well towards the end of the season. I think going out and grabbing Frazier, going out and grabbing Tate Ratledge, these are plug-and-play guys who are probably going to be contributing in more meaningful ways than if Frank Ragnow or whoever the backups were last year. And I think it's like Colby Sorsdahl, Coyote Awaside, whoever there was, and a rookie Mahogany who was out out during training camp because of mono and out for the first month of the season as well. So all in all, the Lions just have the continuity there from a high level perspective. They have the players who can perform. They'd be able to possibly get over 10.5 wins.
Yeah, still a very talented roster.
Yeah, I think that we look at the one team that I go into this season thinking that the Lions are going to embody, or that there's a potential for everything. This is the worst case scenario for the Lions, is the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles. It's 2023? Yeah. 2023 Philadelphia Eagles, losing both their coordinators, coming off of, a great season where they led the league in almost all total offensive categories. Jalen Hurts had an MVP type of season. Adil loves to mention that Jared Goff finished 5th in MVP voting. So there's a similarity there. But the main similarity between the two of them is losing both coordinators. Worst case scenario, you have an issue like that. My thing is the Lions' youth is way more impactful on their team than the Eagles had on theirs. And a lot of hot heads, a lot of temper, a lot of egos were on that Philly team. Whereas this Lions
still
team,
are. Yeah. I mean, the culture out in Philadelphia is quite interesting, to say the least. But last year with AB reading the book on the sideline when he was going through that drop, their culture is honestly one of the weirdest things ever.
Yeah.
If I were the Eagles, I would have fired Sirianni and hired Kellen Moore to replace him.
Well, I mean, he won a title. It doesn't really matter.
In the Super Bowl, there's no way of doing
on the backs
that.
Of good
but Dan Campbell is more of like a hoorah guy that really gets his locker room to buy into what he's selling. Yeah. And I think that unity is going to keep this team together. However, I think this is their last year. I think this is the year. After this year, their window closes because of the fact that you have guys like Aiden Hutchinson, Amir Gibbs, Ryan Branch, Matt Campbell, Sam Laporta. Those are 5 of your key cogs that are coming up on their rookie deals pretty soon. In order to afford all of them, plus the money that you just dished out to Jared Goff, plus the money that you just dished out to Penei Sewell, plus the money that you just dished out to Amon-Ra, that's going to be tough. Yeah. Who's going to go? Who's going to stay? Who's going to take the cut? That nucleus is going to be so hard to maintain. But that's way forward looking. I think this year is still going to be a year where they produce. Now, what that looks like without Ben Johnson, without Frank Ragnow, Aaron Glenn, Adil complained about Aaron Glenn a lot last year. So that loss might not be as impactful, or they might not feel it as much. But
what's funny is that I was also complaining about Ben Johnson last year too, and I had some Chicago fans saying, "You're just saying that because you know Ben Johnson's going to choose Chicago." And even at that time, I was like, "I don't think Ben Johnson's going to choose Chicago of all the places to go."
Yeah, I mean, all Lions fans told me.
Still had some problems with.
I love it, man. I love that. I love that time when he got hired. Their team
nice. That's the best thing that happened to you in the last.
It was just nice. Years. Yeah, it was solid. 20 years? No, I went to Super Bowl 20 years ago.
Did you guys?
2006?
Yeah, forgot. Long time ago. That's when Peyton Manning was still playing. Peyton Manning. He was a quarterback 20 years ago. Your balls had not dropped.
They actually did.
At like 9? Goddamn. All right. Good for you. Yeah. Good for you.
So that's the Lions. Let's switch out to our team, the Chicago Bears.
Sorry, go ahead. I've lost them. I've lost you guys completely.
1 hour later.
Yeah, I can hear this monkey ass chomping down. And it goes like on the earth inside. Na, 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 na.
1 hour later.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man.
1 hour later.
All right, back. So, a little technical difficulty. But let's go with the Bears. So the Bears have an 8-point total. We've discussed the schedule already. It's the second hardest schedule in the NFL. Ben Johnson's coming in, brand new head coach, brand new offensive scheme, and a brand new old line. Over under Bears, 8.5 wins, 3, 2, 1, under. Under. All three unders.
Wow. I'm not surprised at Otto because he's just a freaking hater.
Yeah. But
Bastard.
most people will be surprised at us.
True, yeah.
Takeaway?
I keep going back and forth between 8.5 and 8 and 9 wins. Obviously, it's like Vegas knows exactly what number to put down in terms of like wins or losses. But anyways, the road schedule is so brutal that I'm just like, man, I don't know how you beat the Eagles. I don't know how you beat the Commanders. Just the sheer like opponents that you're facing. It's just so difficult that I'm like, okay, there's like at least 3 or 4 losses already on the road, and then just a couple of that with the. Us playing one of the hardest divisions in the NFL, in the NFC North. I would imagine there's be a split or us going below 500 in terms of playing the line. Or it's playing the division. The lines are on my mind.
But go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Playing the line. Yep.
Yes. But at the same time, there's also the argument of like, hey, the division might regress altogether with the Packers, Vikings, and the Lions all taking a step back as well, and the Bears, moving a little bit forward, which I'll take. But it just seems like with a new offense, new offensive line, new defense on top of that, you're probably taking the chance this year, or the time this year, to see what you have for next year, and then building out the roster the way Ben Johnson truly envisions it to be. So I think it'd be great to win 8 games, just with having from what last season was, you're obviously going to taking a step in the right direction. And if we win 9 games, like Caleb play like an MVP type quarterback. That's what I think. And then you're getting into the wild card conversation at that point. And we won a lot of close games, so we should have.
Yeah, I think the schedule just is the tell-all here. That's the story. We would be so much more optimistic about the team in general had we not had the schedule be this brutal. But there are winnable games. Unfortunately, to me, the schedule seems a lot like last year's schedule. Like, I feel like we're going to start out hot, beating guys. I think we're going to beat the Vikings week 1. Strong against them. And then beat the Cowboys and the Raiders. And then just settle into just a crazy stretch when it's the Ravens, Bengals, back to the Vikings, even the Steelers. I think it's going to be just a tough bloodbath. Exactly, like a bloodbath, especially with the bye week coming in week 5. Just super unfavorable. But overall, hopefully we're going to see that positive regression from last year, just everything going wrong, every single close game going the opposite direction. I think we'll see a little bit of that come back to the norm. And I think 7-8 wins is there, but 8.5 is a little too rich for me. Aldo, anything to add on the Bears? Your favorite team to dunk on?
No, I mean, they're not my favorite team to dunk on. They just happen to be the easiest team to dunk on. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you guys have been cheeks for 3 years. Well, it was easy. I would text you guys in the group chat, and I would get like no response. It'd be like, "Yeah, dude, we know." Cue the Charlie Brown music. No, I mean, here's the one reason why I think that the Bears. I had the Bears at 4 wins in that pre-mini camp. Hold on. Let me qualify the statement. So I had the Bears at 4 wins, and obviously it was based off of nothing, based off of my emotions and a lot of conjecture. It's hard to win in the NFL, right? And I think some of the interviews coming out of the Bears. Is it Ben Johnson saying like TJ Moore saying like, yeah, Ben told me not to act like a sad sack.
I love that, man. Loki, I love that.
He needs it.
It's like okay, if Ben Johnson is talking about like, hey, we got to make sure your guys' emotions on the sidelines in check. Bro, you got a long way to go. The longest of long ways.
Yeah, and I think that
it's
also
hard to win in the NFL.
I think that also has a lot to do with it because you're you're bringing in a completely new coaching staff that also has to
Right.
clean all the shit from last year's regime.
Yeah,
And that's going to take a year, maybe even into next year. I think, like we kept saying, 26 is our year. But let's move on to, we just covered our teams. Let's rapid fire the rest of these, maybe like 30 seconds if you guys have a strong opinion on one. Vikings are also at 8.5. 3, 2, 1. All right, Wase, the outlier. Go for it.
Damn, I'm being a contrarian the whole time. The Vikings, obviously, they have a great coaching staff. I was a big believer in JJ McCarthy. I think he has a great offensive line that's going to be put around him, as well as great weapons with obviously Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison being healthy for this upcoming year, as well as TJ Hawkinson. They don't have that many weaknesses. Maybe besides secondary.
I think their receiving core is a huge weakness because Jordan Addison might be getting suspended the first 3 games out of the season.
They drafted that one guy from Ty Felton from Maryland. He was my guy. I think he's going to be a solid replacement. Not that I'm saying he's going to be replacing Jordan Addison, but I think he's going to be solid. Jalen Naylor was solid last year also. I think they can mitigate those risks with Kevin O'Connell because he's just such a great play designer. And they drafted who did they draft at running back? They drafted
they traded for Jordan Mason.
They traded for Jordan Mason. Didn't they draft running back too? No.
They may have, but I don't know how much.
Regardless, I don't think that does that much of a difference. But they have Aaron Jones again for another year, who was solid last year. So they have a good 1-2 punch with a better offensive line. I think they're if not the best, the second best defensive coordinator in the league. Yeah, I think that they're going to be at least a 9-win team.
I think that regression that I was talking about with the Bears is going to come and hit the Vikings and bring them down. I think they overperformed crazy last year. And with all the uncertainty, whether it's Sam Howell or JJ McCarthy being able to start week 1, having to put Sam Howell in there, like what are you going to design? How are you going to start the season? Jordan Addison being suspended. Aaron Jones just aging. He didn't look great last year, and he didn't look great the previous year with his hamstring injury, and I think he's going towards that. Jordan Mason's a nice backup. Yeah. Is he going to be that guy? They have a good offensive line. They brought in Jonathan Allen, good D-line. So they're good in the trenches, but the secondary is a question mark for me, huge question mark for me, and the skill positions are a question mark.
See, what's funny is that I think that Brian Flores is actually one of their weakest coaches that are on the roster. Not to say that Brian Flores isn't a good coach. I'm just saying compared to the rest of their coaching staff, not the roster. I apologize. I think that Brian Flores, the blitz-heavy scheme, really doesn't trick elite QBs, and that's going to be the downfall for the Vikings if they don't replace him.
They won 14 games last year, no?
Yeah, you remember what happened at the end of the season for them, right?
Yeah, but not because of Brian Flores, because of Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and Brian Flores couldn't stop a lick in the last 2 seasons.
I don't know if he's the weak link of their coaching staff because
he definitely shields a lot of their.
The secondary. The fact that he blitzes so much puts so much less pressure on the secondary.
I disagree. I think that he puts these guys in cover 0 so often.
Then you're going to be able to cover that up with some.
He puts these guys in cover 0 so often that they get bit. They actually have lost to the Lions because of cover 0. Several times because they're just so
right. But you're talking about the Lions are a much better team overall.
Is not a dynamic passer. This guy can read Brian Flores' blitz so easily. You just need a franchise QB to play against Brian Flores, and then the defense becomes significantly less effective. My whole thing is JJ McCarthy doesn't have the live reps. That's my concern. Yeah. That's the reason why I voted on him.
I think he'd be solid. Those guys from Chicago are always so damn good at football.
The Packers are at 9.5. 9.5 for the Packers. 3, 2, 1. Up for Adil. Adil, go for it. You're thinking they're hitting double-digit wins.
I think that they'll get to 10 wins. I have them finishing second, I believe. I don't remember what I had them in the. Yeah, I think I had them at 10 wins. I think in my previous thing. I just think that the Packers, they're a well-coached team. You know, they have some holes on the defensive side, right? Their cornerback room is going to be pretty tough. I think their defensive line underperformed last year. But all in all, I think Jordan Love's inconsistencies were due to the fact that he's never been fully healthy for a full stretch of the season. If Jordan Love gets some consistency from the defense, they'll be a 10-win team, I think. If he's healthy and they have consistency in the defensive end, they'll be a 10-win team.
I agree with the take that Jordan Love's issues last year could be basically blamed on the injury that he suffered in week 1 and just not being able to recover all the way from that. What I can't see is this defense performing at all. An aged Kenny Clark, Luke Van Ness never really getting to what they drafted him as. They still have Quay Walker. Rashawn Gary is Cool. Ezra and Cooper, will he live up to that draft status that they drafted him at the first round pick 2 years ago, a year ago?
Ezra and Cooper was last year.
Last year, yeah. And that secondary, especially with Jair gone now and to the Ravens, that secondary is atrocious.
They got Xavier McKinney, who was solid last year.
Sure, but they're starting Keyshawn Nixon. They're starting Eric Stokes and Carrington Valentine.
Oh my gosh.
That secondary is going to get torched. And 10 wins is a lot. Cannot see this happening for the Packers at all. I think they're going to probably be around like the 7-8 win mark, but 10 is rich. I'm actually surprised that line is there.
What line?
At 9.5, yeah. That's
Vegas probably
so you
knows
think,
something.
So then you think the North takes a step back as a whole?
Yeah. I think the North takes a step back as a whole, and I
the
think
Bears take a step forward because couldn't go. There's only way.
Do you remember last year there was a point in the season where all 4 teams were like top 5?
Yeah. It was the toughest division.
So we'll see. I mean, they're going to beat each other up, but the Packers, I think, finished 4th in this one. Let's move on to the NFC East, starting out with the Philadelphia Eagles over under 11.5. 3, 2, 1. Adil's definitely under, right? Because he had them at 4 wins or something like that.
Not 4 wins.
Not 4 wins?
I had the Eagles at 9 wins.
9 wins, okay.
4 wins is crazy.
So I think that the Eagles kind of just don't have that same roster on the defensive end. They just lost way too much to repeat that performance defensively. And I think on offense, losing Kellen Moore is a big detriment to the team. They promoted their passing game coordinator, so there's continuity there. But I have no idea who the hell that guy is. Nobody has talked about him except for the Eagles, saying that, yeah, we really like him. But, we all know Sirianni is a little bit of a jackass. And if the team could implode on itself and stumble to 9 wins, sorry. So that's why I have him underneath the win total.
It's possible.
That sounds like to me like a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Like 9 wins, and I feel like they're
going
to just
Okay, what about the defense?
Control
What about
games.
the defense?
Jalen Carter is
a game record, man.
Probably going to be one of the best DTs next year, if not the best DT overall.
He could be, yeah.
And
what about everywhere
their
else?
Young secondary, Quintana Mobe, Cooper DeJean, they've got studs.
Andrew Makuba,
they just signed. He had a great year last year. Yeah. Great run defender. And the Georgia boys, I think the Georgia boys take over as defense.
No, I mean, I can see, what you lose Josh Sweat's a big deal. But you also have Vic Fangio.
Bryce Huff, Milton Williams. You lose a lot. You lose a lot.
lose a lot, yeah.
So
I still think that this team is elite.
At least 11 wins. I mean, the NFC East is not as strong as we think that they are. Maybe the Cowboys do make a comeback, but I still think that they're going to win at least. Wait, what was it? What's the line? 11.5?
11.5.
Oh, and we said up? Yeah. Damn, I got me rethinking on that. But whatever, it is what it is.
Cowboys at 12?
No.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles at 12 wins? That's wild. Wild.
I honestly think they're just waiting for Shane Steichen to get fired and indeed to come back to Philly.
And take over as head coach?
As with Sirianni again. Which
makes
sense,
yeah. Could be. There's one of these hyped teams, Jaden Daniels, new offensive line, over under 9.5 games. 3, 2, 1.
I've already been down. Fuck the Commanders.
All of them down. Cool, we can just run through this. We all don't think they're as good as everyone thinks that they are.
Most overrated team.
Hey, I can hear Sophie pretty loud.
That's okay. We can get her. We can do a remove back on this.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The Cowboys, Wase's team, America's team, 7.5 wins.
That's bullshit. No way.
Over under 3, 2, 1.
Are you kidding me? Under 7?
Wase, follow directions. We're doing it after the count.
Just
wait for 3 seconds.
I don't want to wait for 3 seconds. I want you to know who I am.
First,
I think Cowboys good. Okay. Wase, I have the Cowboys winning the division. 12 wins.
12 wins. Wow. I would like to feel the way.
I mean, Brian Schottenheimer doesn't inspire us. So
no, he does. He's shoddy. His interviews, man, they're so good. He's such a feel-good story, man. I'm rooting for him.
An unproven O-line that can be something.
Who's a good coordinator?
Oh no, McCarthy was calling the plays, though. That's the thing. So we don't know what he's like.
Their offense wasn't bad. It was injured. Dak is
injured.
Yeah, but who do they bring in?
I love Dak.
They have no running game. Javonte Williams behind an unproven Tyler offensive line.
They got Miles Sanders.
Secondary is cooked. They got Miles Sanders. You just said they got Miles Sanders with a smile on your face.
Miles Sanders.
You should be ashamed.
They drafted Jaden Blue as like a nice change of pace. A nice change of pace back. They got
hold on.
They got
Tyler Booker and the interior.
Yes.
Tyler Booker, Tyler guy.
Tyler Guyton's gonna be solid after another year underneath his belt.
Listen.
What?
If we're talking about two teams that could regress, in the Commanders and in the Eagles, I know you guys didn't say so,
Yeah.
but if I think the Eagles and the Commanders are both regressing, that makes room for the Cowboys. What are the Giants gonna do? What are the Giants gonna do?
They got a solid defensive line.
I don't see the Cowboys beating the Commanders. As much as we hate
What?
the Commanders offense.
They did it last year.
You're
I
tripping.
don't-
They did it last year with
You're
like
tripping.
no deck.
Yeah, no, you're tripping.
They did it last year.
You should have put a thumbs up for the Commanders and if you thought they were going to beat the Cowboys. No, absolutely not. Cowboys going to be solid next year. At least 9 to 10 wins.
I got them at 12. All right, next one.
Next one is going to be the Giants to round out the NFC East. It's 5.5 wins. 3, 2, 1.
Over 5. Both of you guys. They might surprise. Honestly, think that they might
I
surprise.
just think it's the defense. I think it's the
Yeah.
defense. Russ can be
Yeah.
serviceable, and Malik
They have-
Neighbors. If Malik Neighbors takes that step and becomes your top
Serviceable?
4 receiver in the NFL, that means that Russ cooked in a way.
Yikes,
Russ
man.
is going to cook this year, just not enough to win games.
They have don't they have a ton of do they have like a difficult schedule also? They're like a top
They do.
3 difficult schedule. Yeah, y'all.
They do.
5.5 is crazy. I'll give them 5.
5 games is way too low. That defensive line.
That defense line
Just-
is nasty. Yeah.
That defense
Kayvon
line's
Thibodeau
nasty,
is your worst pass rusher.
Yeah.
and he's your 5th pass rusher.
It's crazy.
Wild. Next division, the NFC South, led by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 9.5 wins. Oh man. Okay.
Wasi,
3,
wait.
2, 1.
Yeah.
I'm going over. We all go over. Damn. I feel like a lot of people are overrating this roster because a lot of people are saying this is one of the best rosters in the NFL.
What? Really?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Not that
Who's
great.
a lot of people?
Like they're in a bunch of people's top 10s.
That's only because he's playing a shitty division, not because they're a great roster.
Well, there's a bunch of when you're doing roster rankings, they're in a bunch of people's top 10s.
Wow, why? I don't get it.
Ooh. And there's Nadeem and his 50 other personalities.
It's not me. It's not me. Totally. Let me see PFF's.
I have him at 10 wins, but the reason why I have
Yeah.
him at 10 wins is because I think the continuity on offense, as far as the players are concerned, it's there. And I think that
They
these
lose
guys
Liam
loaded
Cohen,
up.
though.
Yeah, their PFF has them as a top 10 roster.
Nice.
Well, because go to the roster. Who's it? You got
So,
Winfield in the secondary and Jamel Dean. Linebacker Latte.
The-
Old.
Offense is loaded. I think on the offensive side of the
Loaded.
ball, they have a great linebacker. Bucky coming into year 2. Mike Evans, Buka could be great for them.
I think you're gonna see Godwin play a lot. So.
And they're not going to mess around. They're going to put Bucky as a starter from the beginning. They're not going to
Oh
do
yeah,
that whole
they're not going to
wait 5 games or whatever.
Yeah.
Their offense kind of became like a top 5 offense the moment Bucky
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
taking the ball.
So we all had the Bucks over. Let's see what's the next one. The Falcons 7.5. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think we're high on the Falcons.
Not high. I don't think they're a 7-win team. I think they're like an 8-win team.
Yeah,
I'm in the middle of
but
all
like
these
a
things.
lot of people aren't even giving the Falcons flowers. I feel like
Really?
they made such great
They're
offseason.
pretty aggressive.
additions.
Yeah.
I think Penix is going to be good.
Yeah, I think so.
I
too.
really do think he's going to be good.
There's actually.
I think my holdup is because of Penix. I don't know what we're getting out of him.
If he plays the way he did at the end of the season last
Yeah.
year, Drake London's going to eat, and they're going to be good.
Why is Kirk still out in Atlanta? I have no idea.
I think he's gonna get
They
either
just
moved-
They have to move him, but he's got too much money.
But what a stupid thing the Falcons did. Like, what a stupid thing.
Yeah.
Like I
Well-
just feel like they're incompetent. Their personnel, their incompetence is going to lead the Falcons to be a middling of the pack. They could win eight wins. I had them in the initial mock-up. 8 wins. But
It could be just a year early on Adil's prediction that Fontenot is going to get fired.
I mean, I think if Penix plays great, I think he saved his job because that was like the biggest save of like his career.
Yeah.
He
I
doubled
mean,
down
you're
on
putting
quarterback
all your stocks
Yeah.
into Penix. The Panthers at 6.5. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm the only one that's under. The Panthers. I don't believe in Bryce Young.
What?
They have a formidable defensive line. They have some reclamation projects at corner. I just don't think Bryce Young is the type of guy. I think they'll win like 5-6 games.
Really? I mean, they won like how many games did they win this past year? They won like 5, no?
Yeah.
You don't think
I
they're better than
think-
5? Wow.
I don't think the Panthers were a bad team on paper. But the thing is, because it's mainly because they play in the NFC South, that I could see them getting more wins.
Yeah, that's why I'm in the same boat.
But then if you have the Bucks and the Falcons over, so Bucks are over 9.5, so they're in double digits. Falcons are over 7.5, so they're in the 8 and 9s.
I got them at 8, and I got.
So then, who are the Panthers beating in the NFC South?
I think they'll beat each of those guys one time. I think.
You think the Panthers will beat the
yeah.
Bucks?
They're gonna be. I think they split.
How would the Bucks get to 12 or
10 wins?
10 wins by losing to the Panthers?
They can
Yeah,
split.
that's
It's
not a
not the
problem.
NLBL. You can split the division.
Yeah. I mean, the NFC North had 15, 14, 10, or was it 10 or 11? How many games did the Packers win? It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 7 wins. I don't think less than 7. It'd be wild if it were less than 7.
And then the Saints at 4.5. 3, 2, 1.
I'm not gonna do the
Oh,
worst
sorry.
roster.
I think
Worst
they
roster in the
are
league.
going to be the worst team in the NFL.
Yup.
And then last division for the NFC, pretty great segue into our next segment. It's going to be the NFC West, led by, this is surprising to me, the Niners at 10.5 wins. 3, 2, 1.
I think they have the easiest schedule in the league with the best net rest rating. Like their schedule wise is what makes them so.
Okay.
What is it like?
That's not bad.
I think that the 49ers are going to have, I have them at 10 wins.
Yeah.
And I think I was being really lenient with them. I just feel like Kyle Shanahan is just going to be able to scrap together some wins just because he's one of the best coaches in the league. Just feel like they haven't done enough to maintain that sort of continuity. I think that they have really good players that are over the hump. I think they have really young players that need to prove that they deserve to be there. Just not really sold on the whole 49ers elitism anymore.
Yeah, I think that even with Michael Williams going in there, their run defense is going to take a huge hit.
CJ West is a dog, and I think he's going to be one of the best.
But not by day one, not from day one. I think maybe in the coming years to kind of sustain that
surprise a lot
defense.
of folks next year. His tape as a run defender, that's like what he does. And he was so dominant as a run defender in college. And I know it's college versus the NFL, and line plays are very different. But I think by the end of the season, we're going to be talking about CJ West as being one of the best run defenders in the NFL.
The Rams are at
positive.
9.5. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, they always find a way to win.
I think this is going to be a big year for the Rams.
Yeah.
I think,
The Rams may have the best roster in the NFL.
yeah, we're all pretty high on the Rams.
I think they're going to get the 1 seed.
Who's their secondary?
Okay, their secondary is the weakness.
Yeah.
No, the secondary is their only weakness. And outside of that, it's dogs.
I mean, they have Cam Curl, Cam Kitchens, Akel Witherspoon, Darius Williams.
Crazy.
So it's like whatever, but the
And
front seven's
one
one
of
of the best young front sevens in the game.
Yeah, one of the best young
Their offensive
front
line
sevens.
is vastly improved.
Vastly improved.
Vastly improved. And
Adams.
Devontae Adams with Puka, with Kyron, that's a freaking juggernaut.
Yeah. And Terrence Ferguson.
The Cardinals at 8.5. 3, 2,
I think they're going to win 11 games.
11 games. Damn.
The Cardinals.
I think their defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the league.
I'm gonna go down with the Cardinals. They just, I don't know.
They're
There's
just one of those
something about them,
perpetual, like the Chargers of
Yeah.
the
Like,
NFC.
they should be good, but they're not good.
They just had
They will
such
be.
a great, like a remodel of their
Yeah.
defense, bringing in Will Johnson,
Yeah.
bringing in Walter Nolan, Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson. I mean,
Come on.
it's got you bring in
It
these
looks
names
good,
and
yeah.
it looks it's
good.
really nice on paper. Plus Marvin Harrison Jr. going into year 2.
And looks jacked, by the way. That guy is
Yeah.
going to be a different player entirely.
They brought in your boy Evan Brown, who you were really high on that you wanted the Bears to bring in for the center position instead of
They did
Bowman.
last year also.
So they've really like done a good job of recouping some veterans and then also
What's
adding
their
a lot of
over-under?
talent. It was 8.5.
Yeah, I think I'm at 8 wins, man. I think, yeah, I'm gonna say 8 wins.
And then finally, what is that? The Seahawks also at 8.5. 3, 2, 1.
Wow, no one believes in Sam Darnold, huh?
No.
And no one believes in Mike
I don't-
Donald. No
I
one
don't think
believes
I
in
believe
him?
in
I just
Mike
don't think
McDonald.
I don't think they have the talent on either side of the ball.
Yeah.
Your boy Nick
They took a step
Imanwari,
back.
you loved him so much.
I do. But it's
Nah.
weird because they have both Kobe Bryant and Julian Love, so I wonder if even Murray might play like more of a hybrid linebacker role.
Yeah. Which that's what I think
Which
he
they
should be.
need.
He'd be so good as a
Yeah.
hybrid.
And maybe Byron Murphy can turn into something, but I just don't see it with this offense. Like you brought in a 32-year-old Cooper Kupp, you have brought in MVS, your tight ends Noah Fant, Kenneth Walker oft injured.
They went out and they drafted a few guys too.
Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
Jalen Milrow could be sneaky. He could be
If he
someone who
plays.
comes in.
You
I
got
don't
Damian
think
Martinez, your
game
boy.
changer.
Yeah,
He
my
could
boy David
be.
Martinez. I like him a lot. No, honestly, I'm rooting for the Seahawks to do well.
The Seahawks also pulled Elijah Arroyo too, right?
They did get Elijah Arroyo, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, man. Hey, I'm really high on them.
Yeah?
What's over under on them again?
8.5. Same with Cardinals.
Oh, 8.5.
Wait,
Shit.
what's going on with their O line? Didn't they lose quite a bit?
Yeah, their O-line's
The one's terrible.
They drafted Gray
Can I change
Zable.
my-
What
can
am
I
I gonna
Great-
say?
Grace. Yeah, you're
Change
flipping
it.
it.
I'm gonna flip it.
All right, that's the NFC. A perfect segue into our start bench cut, the NFC West. At quarterback, we've got Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold. Bench cut 2.
Should I go first?
You can go.
I'm starting Matthew Stafford, and I'm benching Kyler.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm cutting Brock and Sam.
Same. Abdul, same.
Yeah.
Running back, CMC, James Conner, Kenneth Walker, and Kyron Williams.
Damn.
Abdul, go for it.
I'm going to start.
He's going to do it. He's going to be edgy.
I'm going to start Kyron Williams.
What the hell? What the hell? What?
I mean, he's putting up the numbers right now. CMC is.
Kyron-
What do you want me to do? CMC's been injured,
Well,
Okay,
Kyron's
Kyron's been
not-
injured as well.
and Kyron's like 10 years younger.
I mean, so?
he's still CMC though.
Not actually 10 years younger. I just don't. What are you going to do? It's not like CMC is known.
Is
to be
Kyron the
this iron-
second best running back in this list?
I mean,
this list?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sold high on
No.
Kyron.
CMC,
And honestly,
Kyron,
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker is. We were talking about injuries. Kenneth Walker is much more.
Sure,
injured.
yeah,
but
I'm
who's a
cutting
better
Kenneth
running back?
Walker just on sheer
I think-
injuries.
I think Kenneth Walker, just based off athleticism alone, he's probably better than.
All right,
Kyron
what's
Williams.
yours?
CMC. I don't like how slow Kyron is, so I'm gonna go with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, that's mine. Start
then-
CMC, bench Kenneth Walker,
And
and,
then
cut Kyron
the
and James Conner.
James Conner, although deserves to be on the.
There's a lot of love.
He does.
He's
He's like,
so
career-wise,
consistent. Yeah.
he would be there. Wide receivers, I went, if you guys want to edit this, we can, or adjust it. I went Puka, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Brandon Ayuk. I know we've got some veterans that used to be at the top of the game in here, but
Brandon Ayuk? Oh yeah, from
but we don't have them as the ones on their team,
Yeah.
respectively, with Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp. So start bench cut.
Do we want to remove Brandon Ayuk for Devontae?
Would that change anything for you?
No. I got a second moment. All right. I'm gonna start Puka. I'm gonna bench Marvin.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna cut the rest. Damn it. I mean, Jason is nice too, though.
Those
Jason's
same.
nice, too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just think that Puka's not going to be there by the end of the season. Like, something's going to happen. Boy's not going to be there for half the season. But I would still put him as the wide receiver 1 over Devon.
Tight end. This is so chalk. George Kittle, Trey McBride, and your pick of Noah Fant or Tyler Higbee.
There's not chalk. I mean, this George
No.
Kittle and McBride is a legitimate conversation.
But obviously, you're going to cut the other two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, but that's a solid tight end unit.
Would you start McBride?
It depends on what personnel I'm running, because
Kittle as a blocker, clearly.
yeah,
I mean, you have to draft
even
one.
him as
Who are
like
you-
a route
if you have
runner
to
is
draft
so
one
good.
right now, who are you taking?
I would say McBride just because of
Age?
Youth.
But you
Yeah.
got to do it for this season. You're not drafting like overall.
McBride.
I would
You're,
still go McBride. I think
but he can't score touchdowns.
No,
Salah,
but
Julio
neither-
Jones,
neither can. I mean,
Neither can Kittle.
No, I said neither can Marvin Harrison. It's not because of them that they're bad players or anything like that. It's just like they just haven't.
I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. still had touchdowns last year.
Yeah, but they just can't. It's okay, man. Trey McBride is still like a top 2 tight end in the league.
He is not top 2.
Who's
He's top
wh-
5.
He's
Arguably,
yeah.
like,
He's not.
you
a
could
top
argue that
2
he's top 2.
He's the top 2 tight end. Brock.
I mean,
Trey,
this is it.
George.
Receiving?
This is it.
Yeah,
Kittle right here.
It's between Kittle and McBride, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I like Kittle's skill set better, but McBride's just a better.
I still
receiver
think-
now.
I still think Kittle's got it in him.
No, he does. Damn it, this one's hard. Honestly, just
I'm
for the
predicting-
overall skill set, I'm gonna go Kittle and then
Yeah,
McBride.
I'm
That's
starting
McBride,
Kittle
yeah.
and benching me.
Yeah, I'm starting McBride, but only because I feel like McBride is going to be available more often than Kittle will be this
Yeah,
year.
That's all. Yeah.
I hope not. That would be bad for my dynasty. Offensive lines: 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams.
Start the Rams.
This is chalk. Agreeing with Watson more than I ever have in my life.
Start the Rams. 49ers are overrated to me.
Are
With
they
that
as bad as
the
the rest of the team?
I might go with the Cardinals. I'm gonna start the Rams, bench the Cardinals, and then cut the rest. Damn, that's actually. Am I doing that with Trent?
I feel like the Cardinals are not set at O-line. I'm not completely sold,
I think they're slept on.
but
Yeah, I think they're a lot better than people think that they are.
I think they made some good decisions. But
Like they
you
brought in
have-
Jonah Williams. They have Evan Brown. They have Paris Johnson, who's due for a breakout this year.
best case scenario, I would take the Cardinals then. Best case scenario.
Over the Rams?
Over the no, I think the Rams are probably one of the top 5 offensive lines in the league. So it's Rams and then bench Cardinal.
Yeah, same.
If the best case scenario were to happen.
And then lastly, the defenses, 49ers, Hawks, Cardinals, and Rams. I'm going to start the Rams and bench.
The Cardinals.
I'm going to bench the 49ers still, just because the Cardinals are unproven.
Same.
No way.
The Cardinals defense
49ers?
is all potential. I mean, we just talked about it, but it's literally all potential.
Okay, I feel that.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right, cool. And then moving on to our next segment, we have our fantasy. So this is a segment where we will talk about players that we want to avoid. But before we got into that, I thought last week we introduced our fantasy segments. We started with the mock draft, and I think we've all played fantasies for such a long time. We've all played together for such a long time. And I wanted to talk about like fantasy formats, what you guys like in terms of scoring formats, but also league formats, because we just participated in our first ever Dynasty League, and that has already become my favorite format, just because you're invested in these players and you have just so much more stake when it comes to anything that they do. So what are your guys' favorite league formats and scoring formats?
Dynasty PPR, not that half PPR. I like the super flex option. What I don't like about Dynasty is not having a defense.
Really?
I like having a defense and a kicker. I don't know why.
But it's so random, especially in today's day and age. I almost feel like even in redraft, you need to get rid of defense and kicker, because every week
they change the game for you a lot, man. I don't know.
But it's not.
It's like the biggest like luck factor thing.
Yeah.
And that's what, and I kind of want that for the sake of having like more chaos. Losing by 0.2 points, you know, like that's
I understand what Wase says. Like the whole like option with defenses causing the most like random games. Like I think Wase has won games in her family league, like off of like Patriots 22, 25 points. Just random games.
Remember what happened to you?
Pops off.
Do you remember what happened to you in the Bear Nation League where it was you're about to lose, but then you scored literally everything that you needed to happen to you for you, like where you got a sack and then returned a touchdown. It was the wildest thing in the world.
Yeah, I think so. Cooked, and I was like, no, I could get a defensive touchdown.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a defensive touchdown; it was a return touchdown, I think. And like things like that type of chaos, like, and it was in the playoffs too. So it was a pretty solid run. I like that. I just like that type of stuff.
I love daily fantasy. I think that just being able to like restart every single week, that's the sort of stuff that keeps me engaged in the games. Dynasty is great, but I think the reason why we're having a good time in Dynasty is because we have a good blend of personalities.
Yeah.
We're always messing around. We're always like talking the most smack, getting under each other's skin. I'm sending dog shit trade proposals, and everyone is just eating. Like everyone's biting every single time. They're just like, bro, this guy doesn't know ball. Like I love that because of the people I'm playing with.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. You can play with whomever. If they're not fun, if they're not engaging like a group chat or like a league, it's just like not worth playing for. I have a league that's so boring. There's no dialogue. No one's like talking trash. No one celebrates the title. It's like a money league too.
Yeah, with Dynasty, it's the most pressure on the actual players that you play with, right? Like you have to have banter. You have to have trades. Like if you don't have trades in a Dynasty league, the league will fail. And you have to have activity. You have to have people that are all invested, because if you have one guy, like that's the one thing that I'm still like worried about is what happens when someone wants to leave the league and then you have like an orphan team. Another thing is how many leagues is too many?
More than 4.
I like that.
There's no set number.
Listen, dude. I hate having.
Listen to me. When you do fantasy, right?
Yeah.
If you can juggle whatever's going on in your life along with the fantasy sports, do it. If it's your job, I know there's fantasy bettors out there, where it's their job to go out and go do it. Go in the 12 leagues. Do what you need to do.
So before I got married, I was in 12.
You were in 12 leagues?
Yeah.
I love football, but God, that's.
And then at the first year of marriage, I went down to 7. because I told my wife I would get rid of leagues, and now I'm at a healthy 5.
5 is a lot.
I'm
But
at
like,
about
I'm at 5 also. I'm at
5. The only way you can do it is you have to be doing it with your best friends, and you have to be like fully invested in these leagues. These can't
That's
just be
so
like
cute.
one-off
You're so
leagues.
cute. You're my best friend.
Dynasty is different. He's like.
I can't imagine doing Dynasty with people you don't know.
Yeah. We made it happen.
Yeah, we made it happen, but we like really facilitated that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
We had to manufacture a lot of.
We're making sure everyone is
literally.
really involved in that.
Ikram and
I think-
and what's his name? I'm talking.
yeah, but they're like, I mean, Ikram won the league, right?
Oh,
like,
true.
he's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
talking about
This
it.
guy won the league.
That makes it worse. That makes it worse for us. I love that on the side we're also talking. Bro, these guys, they don't know what they're talking, and then they go out and they win the league.
Yeah, like literally drafting like Tyreek Hill and Christian McCaffrey in the first 3 rounds is crazy. And then in terms of, let's see, so for fantasy, how early is too early
What do you mean? How
For
early?
what?
Early?
to start researching, to dive into the data?
If
To
you're in
get all of
Dynasty, you're starting literally right after like college football season.
that? If you're in Dynasty, it's a year round, but
Yeah.
just
I don't
redraft.
know. Redraft? Oh, you gotta start redraft like training camp wise. You gotta go to like the first 2 games of the first 3 games, whenever those starters play the most, and that's when you gotta start deducing who's gonna be playing.
That's
more.
preseason.
Yeah, preseason wise. Yeah. You're not gonna research in freaking July. Who does it?
Oh,
Who does it in July? Do you do it in July?
That's what we're doing right now.
We're doing because we're trying to put out content. We're not doing this because like we normally do this. This is
Wate.
uncharted territories for all of us.
I don't
It's not
think so.
Wate.
Really?
Wate, every year I Google insert team name, beat writers, training or training, whatever it is, just trying to get a feel of who's getting the targets, who are the players that are standing out. You know, like people who might be off the, on the bubble, on the roster, whatever it might be. I'm already developing that sort of
I did that once,
mindset.
and then I drafted Allen Robinson when he went to the Rams, and I paid.
So did I.
Oh, that
So
was-
you cannot read into that because Allen Robinson was the second coming of Jerry Rice that offseason. He was catching everything, and it was the worst. So I stopped
targeting
listening.
him too.
Yeah, they did us.
Oh my god.
All right, he scored 10 points that year. I think he did it like once or twice, maybe. Bastard.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many instances of that player that goes to a new team that you think is going to perform
Yeah.
because of the fact that it's inflated by that quarterback that goes, like a Matthew Stafford to the Rams, literally wins the Super Bowl that year. Tom Brady to the Bucks, wins the Super Bowl that year. And you get all hype about Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets.
Or Russell Wilson on the
Oh my
Broncos.
God, yeah. Or
Broncos,
Deshaun Watson on the
yeah.
Browns. I mean,
Dream.
there's so many.
Dream.
Yeah.
Your worst ever draft pick.
Those are a lot, though. I mean, like, that's hard to remember.
No, just like someone who's affected you so negatively. Really, you drafted him.
You know what's crazy?
I
You know
hate
what's
this guy.
crazy about this? My worst ever pick might be, like, not counting injury, obviously, right? And he's not affected me negatively because I love him. Baker Mayfield in 2019. I drafted him in the 5th round, thinking that he was going to, like, have... Remember, I mean, 2019, we talked about the Cleveland Browns offseason.
Yeah.
They were supposed to go to the moon. Baker, that second-year hype, was getting all tons of praise. Had a rookie record for touchdowns. And funny enough, I mitigated that risk by drafting Lamar in the 8th round.
Oh,
And Lamar won the
nice.
MVP. But that was really high. What about, do you guys have any that stand out? I mean,
remember,
yours,
like,
Allen
the-
Robinson, right?
I have.
He's not my worst. I didn't like draft him like in like the first 3 rounds. I'm trying to think. I know my best trade was when Nick Chubb, like the week or two before he got injured or whatever, or maybe it was like in the offseason. It was in the offseason, yeah. I had drafted Nick Chubb as my first round pick, and I traded it for Jahmyr Gibbs because I had so much conviction in Jahmyr Gibbs. He was rookie that season.
So recently.
Yeah, I traded Jahmyr Gibbs. I traded for Jahmyr Gibbs and Terry McLaurin for Nick Chubb. And Nick Chubb blows out his ACL, MCL, and I got saved by getting Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs finished as a top 10 running back in fantasy.
But again, injury is like everything. Last year, I traded out of my first round pick for a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th. And that first round pick ended up being CeeDee Lamb. And I got Josh Allen, Malik Neighbors, and David Montgomery.
Nice.
So it was great.
Nice.
It was great.
Good haul.
Yeah.
I picked up Peyton Hillis after that Madden cover year. I think it was like
That's terrible.
it must have been like the 4th or 5th round or something.
That's pretty
Was
bad.
that his Broncos year?
Yeah.
No, that was the year after the man. So he was still on the Browns. He just was terrible.
I think he ended up having like 500 yards or something.
So that's a
400 yards.
great segue into this fantasy segment that we have today, and it's who we think our early busts or players to avoid are. So 3 players, each of us are going through, and we had the mock draft last week, and what the mock draft showed me was there's so much value in this draft in later rounds. However, there are some players that I still would not touch with a 20-foot pole. And if we cross, we cross, but I think the one player that I want to highlight first, it's the guy that you picked, Patrick Mahomes. He has had an abysmal last 2 years. And one of the big talking points coming out of this offseason seems to be this idea that Patrick Mahomes isn't the best quarterback in the league right now. After this season, if he has another down year, and we're talking about a down year where the Chiefs defense is one of the best defenses in the league, he doesn't really have any elite pass catchers. There are a lot of yak yards in their game. But just overall finishes that are outside of QB 10 for, the guy that you're drafting in the early first 5-6 rounds, probably like early 5th or late 4th even, hasn't been good for fantasy, has barely finished as a top QB1 for the last 2 years, and I don't see anything that changed dramatically to see that ceiling rise for him. Travis Kelce's getting a year older. Rashee Rice has some suspension looming maybe, or even if it gets pushed off, he's coming off of an ACL that Patrick Mahomes himself tore. And yeah, I think that's a huge risk and just not touching it.
Yeah. Interesting. I think for the past couple of years he's been keep away from. But he turns up in the playoffs, so works out for them anyways.
So prospectively in the 2nd or 3rd round, instead, who would you go with?
Well, Mahomes to me is like a 5th, 6th rounder, and I think this year specifically is a year that you can wait way later on a quarterback and grab like a Dak or a Stafford or even like I think Kyler and Justin Herbert are also after him, so they're probably better bets. You could go for the upside in Justin Fields or a Michael Penix or even a Caleb. And if you believe in JJ McCarthy like that, he's going to be available way later in the draft. And then around Patrick Mahomes, the guys I'm seeing in mocks are like the Baker Mayfields, and I would 1,000% rather have Baker Mayfield on my fantasy team than Patrick Mahomes, who also, even without his play, the Chiefs last year relied on their defense, and they didn't need a crazy offense to win because they have an elite defense and they can settle for a whatever so-so offense because they talked about it so much last year where they were like conserving their offense for the playoffs. I don't see why they wouldn't do the same thing again this year.
It's all about winning for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my number one is Saquon Barkley. The only reason I'm choosing Saquon is because Saquon Barkley. I love that meme though. It's Saquon Barkley. Choosing Saquon because of the Madden curse. It's very real in the sense that the curses are real, but something always tends to happen to these players the year prior or the year after they get on the Madden cover. Yeah, so I'm not going with Saquon Barkley. And then on top of that, the player that usually wins Offensive Player of the Year, when sometimes a running back, they generally have a big regression the year after, especially those 2,000-yard rushers. They always come back down to earth next year. They don't have as great as a year. I could be wrong. They have a great offensive line, but I'm sticking to the fact that I think Saquon Barkley is going to regress heavy next year.
Are you saying from an injury standpoint, or are you saying just
possible
skills?
Injury and then just regression of just production? Just because it's just never happened where you've seen like a 2,000-yard rusher come back the next year after having 350 carries and be just as effective the year after. So that's kind of why I'm like a little cool on him. I'm going to probably.
I think the thing is with running backs is usually you would take into consideration wear and tear. But Saquon, a lot of the times, was untouched. Going through, I think it was like he had the Eagles' offensive line was giving him 3.5 to 4.5 yards before contact. And then at the end of the day, Saquon was, even though like you can't take down Saquon with arm tackles, I think he was doing a lot of like smart things, protecting his body, and then eventually just finding pay dirt, right? He's not really big, I know they have him down as a three down back, but he's not really staying back and pass blocking that often. He's not taking the brunt. I'm hoping, God willing, Saquon stays healthy, but that's where that information usually comes from.
Now, I think one thing to highlight for these busts is we wouldn't take them. It's not like we're not touching them at all, but for their ADP right now where they're going, I think it's just too rich.
You have to be like a value.
Like you get Saquon even at the end of the first round or early second, you're taking him for sure. Go for it, Adel.
Lad McConkey for me. So right now on Fantasy Pros, he's listed as wide receiver 11. That's basically second round.
Yeah,
like top of the second there.
Wow.
I
That's
have
high.
Garrett
think so?
Wilson, DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams, those
Over
guys
Ladd?
all over Ladd. I think that those guys would finish better than Ladd. I think people are counting on the volume to really make up for a lot of the things that Ladd will have. They're adding more weapons to the
Ladd will
offense
have.
in they're adding more weapons to the offense. I just don't think that the volume is going to be there to support the wide receiver 11 finish.
Yeah, I think that's high for sure.
Really?
I don't agree with the Devontae and the DK and the Garrett Wilson. I think they are still probably going to finish below him unless, again, Garrett Wilson has like this breakout year with Justin Fields. But Ladd being in the second round, it just feels weird. And especially with the additions that they made, Amarian Hampton, Trey Harris, they're going to spread the ball around. Najee Harris as well.
Oh.
They're going to be spreading the ball around. They're going to be running the ball a lot more. So it's not going to be this dependence on Ladd, especially if Trey Harris is just 20% better than QJ. They'll be completing more passes down the field. Ladd's not a deep threat. I don't see those touchdowns coming at all unless it's like, near the goal line that he becomes like a consistent red zone target.
Wow.
But I like that, Aldo. Who's your next guy?
Okay, we'll do the snake style. I am fading Devon Achane. I'm fading him
Okay.
because I just don't see him finishing as the fifth running back. That's where he currently is ranked on Fantasy Pros. I just don't see it happening, mainly because of health reasons. I also think that the Dolphins are not going to be having the best season on offense. So I would rather take Josh Jacobs at that point as running back 5.
Solid, I like it, because the Dolphins have no offensive line, and Tua's never healthy, and then that obviously struggles with the rest of the offense.
The splits that H.N. has with and without two are
Yeah,
quite crazy.
crazy.
But I will say, one, I think I like that you mentioned that price because it is very, very
Yeah,
high. Like
fine,
him
it's
going
crazy.
before Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah.
before Bucky Irving, before even Josh Jacobs, that seems really, really high to me. He is like a check down machine, though. Like he'll catch passes out of the backfield, especially if they're trailing. But I have him as one of my keeper options this year in the 8th round. And I'm even debating that because I also have Malik in the 3rd and Brock Bowers in the 7th. Then I can only keep her 2. But yeah, it's tough because the volatility with just running backs in general, RBBCs, Jalen Wright could come in and steal a lot of his touches in his second year. So yeah, I like that a lot.
But my second is Jaden Daniels. Not that I'm a hater.
Not
I'm a
that.
hater. But
But you
last
are.
year when CJ Stroud, I'm not a hater, when CJ Stroud had a great rookie season, I was like, oh, they played a very easy schedule. Same thing with the Commanders. They played the easiest schedule in the league last year. They didn't have much competition. The division was in shambles. They got lucky by beating the Chicago Bears on a lucky-ass Hail Mary. That play alone gave Jaden Daniels another 17 points. It was all...
Oh my God, that is
shut up.
fantasy.
It is fantasy. So Jaden Daniels I feel like he's going to have a regression season. I don't think he's going to be a 3,700-yard passer along with being a
1,000-yard
rusher. I think he's asking to get hurt because he's a fucking bitch, and I don't like him for what he did to my season last year, but also because he's skinny as hell and has no weight on his body, and he's a mama's boy, and that's why he's going to regress next year. This idea that he's a great quarterback or was the best quarterback in the draft last year, he won't be that. I just don't believe
true,
it.
though. Who was better than Jaden Daniels?
Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams played better than Jaden Daniels?
Yeah.
Jalen Williams
You're
just won a chip.
tripping.
I completely disagree with that take. That's
You think he's going to be
take.
better than last year? You don't think he's going to regress at all?
For fantasy, I think he's going to be incredible still. He's a running quarterback who throws a lot of touchdowns, who is running in an offense that's going to feature him because they have Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to make another bet? Do you want to make another bet?
That he's going to be
What was the first
a
bet?
top
Who's
what? A
checking
top
this?
5 fantasy quarterback?
Yeah.
You think he's going to be a top 5 fantasy
You don't think he's going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback?
Watson, your
Easy
only
money.
chance is that
Easy
he gets
money.
What do you
injured.
want to bet on
Your
it?
only chance is
$50
he gets
bucks.
injured.
$50?
Yeah.
Down.
Oh my goodness.
$50.
Easy money.
He's either going to get injured, he's going to regress hard.
Injury doesn't count.
Ass as an offensive
Injury
coordinator.
doesn't count.
Injury doesn't count?
No.
What are you talking
No,
about?
there was
That's
no. You didn't.
I said
hey,
he's
no, no,
skinny.
you didn't agree.
I said he doesn't have girth on his body. He's going to get injured.
Yeah, but
He's not
like
gonna make
everyone
that-
can get
Hey,
injured.
stop
That's
talking
not-
about girth.
You're talking about his actual play.
Listen.
You're talking about his actual play on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the handshake, there was no injury insurance on there.
Yeah,
I
you
got
can't-
injury
That's
insurance.
You can't do it
I'll
after
call
the fact.
Jake. I'll call Jake.
You can't do that.
I'll call
If
Jake.
You can't call Jake from Safe Farm. He can't help you.
All right, Goofy. Oh, damn. Who was I going to go with? James Cook.
Ooh, okay.
Did you know that 43% of James Cook's fantasy points in half PPR last year came from touchdowns? 18
Yeah.
touchdowns, 16 on the ground, 2 in the air. Ray Davis is coming into his second year. Ty Johnson got so much love last year from Josh Allen. They brought in Josh Palmer. Keon Coleman going into his second year. The offense is going to be a little different. Josh Allen steals rushing touchdowns at the goal line.
Still
And
had 18 touchdowns though.
18 touchdowns to 18 touchdowns. There's no way you're replicating that though, year over year. And especially
Ray Davis coming on like the way that he did at the end of the last season, I'm not comfortable with the level of volume that he would have.
exactly,
ADP right now.
exactly mid to late third round.
I feel like that's fair for him.
That's high for me.
Where would you draft him?
I would
Fifth
draft him in
round?
the fourth, fifth round, maybe. But
Really?
like, you're not getting that
Six
level of
picks.
production. That means that he didn't have efficiency on the ground. His yards per carry was low, and you have a guy like Chase Brown that's there that gets all of the work. That will probably get all of the work again because Chase Brown from the Bengals.
Yeah.
He's drafted after him. You have David Montgomery that also eats touchdowns, but that's his role in the offense. You have guys like Omarion Hampton, Alvin Kamara, and then you have stud receivers. Devontae goes after him. Marvin Harrison goes after him. DK Metcalf goes after him. I just think Joe Mixon goes after him. There's just
Dude,
so
the
much
biggest
I'd rather
point
have.
there is the efficiency. The
Yeah.
efficiency has to be at an elite clip in order for him to
I'm just
replicate
saying,
what
And he's
we're
not that
doing.
running back. He's not an efficient runner of the football, as is.
No.
He's a big play guy and reliant on touchdowns. And then my last guy that I probably wouldn't touch, and you know what? It's unfortunate because this is a guy every year that I just don't really like. I'm between two guys, actually. But I'll go with this. The offense sucks. The offense just sucks. Like, he doesn't have a quarterback that's throwing him the football. They're probably going to be the worst team in the league. And he himself is just injury prone, and that's Chris Olave. I don't know where Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck is going to get him to be this, great receiver going ahead of guys like George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Zay Flowers. A guy that I'm not too high on, but even then he's still going to get his worth is Devontae Smith, Jameson Williams. Like, I would take all those guys over Chris Olave. And I don't see it with him.
Yeah, that's really fair.
Also, what was that about J-Mo?
What did you say?
What was that about J-Mo?
I would take only because Chris Olave is in a really bad situation. He's generally injured. Not
But
because
J-Mo-
I would actually take J-Mo over Chris Olave. If Chris
I
Olave,
bet you're going to take...
I bet you I wouldn't take J-Mo over Chris Olave. I bet you on my life I wouldn't.
I
This
bet
guy's
you would take
goofy. As a
J-Mo
talent?
in one of your leagues.
As a talent,
And what
are you
No, he's talking about fantasy.
in
No,
fantasy?
fantasy,
Oh, okay, yeah,
goof.
fantasy. I would take J-Mo
You're
over
hard
Chris
for no
Olave.
reason.
Yeah, because I'm trying to fight you. Because J-Mo's has.
All right, who's your third?
My third is not that this is a controversial pick, but Mark Andrews. I think he's been a top 5 tight end in fantasy for the past 7 to 8 years. I want to say he got drafted in 2017, right? Something like that. But I think last year was his swan song. I don't think he's going to be as effective as he once was.
I
He's
disagree
gonna
with you
split
guys.
a lot
completely.
with Isaiah Likely as well too. So I just think that I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he's like 31 now. Items generally that are like his body type and his play type tend to fall off at this age. I don't think he's going to be a 900-yard receiver like he was this past year. Was he 900? I think he was a 900-yard receiver. I think so.
He had like a couple blow-up games, but he was not
Yeah.
consistent at all throughout and he had games where he didn't even
He
have a
just looked like
target.
he was falling off.
Well,
But
that
he was
was
drawing a lot of
Mark
defensive
Andrews.
coverage.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
I'm
tale
a
of two
good-
halves for Mark Andrews. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
I
Is
mean, he
that
came
in
back from the
beginning,
injury.
yes,
Yeah.
totally inconsistent. I get it, but then he came on strong. I think he was commanding targets. He was winning his routes. He was creating separation. He was doing fine at the end of the year. The only thing that would take away from it is if Isaiah Likely does take that next step, is more consistent. That's the only reason why Andrews wouldn't get that same level of targets.
Yeah. He still finishes as 9-5 on the year.
Yeah,
It's
he was
kinda
solid.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't think he's gonna finish that this year. Colson Loveland's coming. I'm not even saying. I'm saying
Where on you, you take it with a straight face.
this is a family show, bro.
Is it?
This is a family show.
My 1 to your 8.
I'll finish this off. Who's the last one?
I'll finish this off the same way. Travis Hunter. I know this is Wasi's boy here.
Yeah, I was
my
thinking
boy.
that too.
What do you mean? He's not my boy.
You were gargling him during the dynasty draft.
Because
He
I
was
got
so
him.
high
I
up
got
on
him in the 11th pick.
Yeah, sure, that's completely fine. I'm just saying that Fantasy Pros has Travis Hunter listed as fantasy player number 60. He's like wide receiver number 20. It's not that high up. But all in all, you have him going in about the 5th round. Why wouldn't you
makes
take
sense.
Jacoby Myers there, right?
I mean, you just
Jacoby
have no
Myers-
idea what
I
he's
would,
going to be.
I would take Travis Hunter over Jacoby Myers. I can't believe you even fucking said that.
No, Jacoby Myers is a solid wide
He's
receiver.
solid wide
too.
receiver, but Travis
wide
Hunter's
receiver could be a
Travis Hunter was
nothing
a-
burger.
he was a
could be a
second-
Jacoby
nothing.
Myers-
Second
Jacoby-
overall pick is gonna get force fed, guys. I'm sorry to tell you that. He's gonna get force fed. That's ridiculous to say that
Yeah,
Jacoby
and then when
Myers over.
did you see those routes he was running? He was stumbling out of his
Okay, he's not the best route runner, but him like ball skills wise.
So
is
not the
elite.
best route runner is going to go ahead and finish above
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers.
I
Get out of
would
your
wager
mind.
that. I'll wager you 50. I wager Nadeem $50 for Jaden Daniels, and I'll wager you $50 for Travis Hunter.
I don't want.
Oh, I like that.
I want.
Travis Hunter versus
Fucking
Jacoby
those-
Myers?
Aren't you on freaking BetMGM or one of those freaking apps are? What is that? FanDuel? I don't gamble, so I don't freaking know.
I mean, daily fantasy sports without the bet in here.
This guy.
My whole thing is that as
Put
soon
your
as
money where
you-
your mouth is.
No,
I don't want to hear
because-
it. Put your money
No,
where
no,
your mouth
listen to
is.
me. Listen to me. When you lose money, it doesn't mean anything because you just shrug it off. I want you to be able to when you're wrong. I want you to be able to just sit there and say,
50, my guy, I'm unemployed. $50 is a lot of money to me.
It's
I'm
not.
Mr. Pal Show
It's
gift.
not.
I'm like,
I like that. Do the bet. Do the bet.
yeah.
no, I don't want your money. I want your dignity.
Jacoby
You want my
Myers.
dick? What?
What?
Did you seriously not hear what I said?
No, I didn't hear you at all. What'd you say?
Dignity.
Okay.
This is a family show, okay?
I misheard you. I thought you were doing something inappropriate again.
I said
Anyways.
dignity 8 times straight.
Jacoby Myers versus Travis Hunter. Lock it in.
Travis Hunter, yeah. Lock
All
it
right.
in. $50.
So who finishes higher? That's
Travis
the
Hunter.
bet, like in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's fun.
And I want you to.
What's
I
the
want
one
you to
from last
sit there.
week? Do we remember?
Well, we bet last
Yeah.
week. What did we bet?
We bet something last week.
What did
I
we bet?
gotta go back and see. We definitely, that was the second time we did the handshake. There was the first. All right, to close off the show today, we're going to have a feel good segment. The Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA
yeah.
Finals, and in
Nice.
Oklahoma City, we have a championship parade. Now, as many of you may know, specifically Haroon, I was born in Oklahoma, so that's my home state. It's the first time we're holding a title. So I thought, you know what I'm saying?
Were you ready for the Thunder?
No, I couldn't give a shit about basketball, but sports gives us a lot of euphoric feelings, whether it's just a game, whether it's a championship. Everyone in their lives has to experience a championship, inshallah, at least once. I pray that you experience a championship at some point. Actually, you have, but
I don't watch baseball like that. I
it
don't
doesn't matter.
watch-
You are a gigantic LeBron stan.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron sexual, as they say. And,
Wait,
these
so who are you
feelings
talking
that...
to?
Me.
Wase, are you a LeBron sexual?
No, I was just saying, you said, I hope you experience one. So I was wondering who
just
you're
the
talking
general
to.
public.
We're talking
Oh.
to the audience.
Yeah. So, anyways, we wanted to do a Mount Rushmore of our most euphoric sports moments, whether it be games, a certain feeling, a certain championship, title, retirement, whatever it is. And I'll let myself go first. Obviously, there is no better feeling than the team that you're rooting for your entire life winning the World Series, especially after going through heartbreak after heartbreak at the ages of 6, 7, 8. And then again at 11 and 12 through 2007, 2008, when the Cubs were making the playoffs and ended up getting swept in the first round. But in 2015, they were able to assemble a roster that then turned into the 2016 World Championships. The best game of that title run is, everyone loves to talk about Game 7. For me, it was the NLCS Game 6 at Wrigley Field. I can watch that game over and over and over again because start to finish, it's just Cubs dominant. And we went to the World Series in that game. We won the pennant, like that feeling, that emotion, insane. With the World Series Game 7, it's just like a bunch of ups and downs. That whole series going down 3-1, coming back to win it. Of course, it's that night, November 2nd of 2016, greatest night of my life. But Game 6, NLCS, one of the best games of all time for me. And it ended on the Yasiel Puig double play ball, Javi to Russell, and on to first to Rizzo. Rizzo puts the ball in his pocket, and the Cubs are going to the World Series. Just a great moment. Just so happy. Literally, Donald Trump became president right after that, and I didn't feel a thing because I was so happy. But go ahead.
Mine's obviously Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. The block was the greatest thing I've ever seen. That whole series when they're down 3-1, and then you see Game 4 Was it game 4 where they had like a 40-point when LeBron and Kyrie went for 40 points? No, it wasn't game 4.
No, it was game 5.
Game 5, LeBron and Kyrie go for
Because that was
40
the
each.
game that Draymond was suspended.
Yeah, and then game 6, LeBron goes out for 40 again, and now we're like, oh my god, game 7 is about to happen. And then just that last 3 minutes of that game, going back and forth, everyone's missing a shot because they're tired as hell. And then you see LeBron just do the most Herculean thing where he's running a full court sprint, trying to stop a layup, just so the Warriors don't get an upper hand. Just one of the best moments I've ever seen. The best sporting moment in my life to block, and then obviously the clutch shot by Kyrie to win the game. I'll never.
That's the highest high you've ever felt?
That is the highest high I think I've ever felt in my life, outside of like the Devin Hester Super Bowl return.
Wow.
That was like
that one actually lasted for you.
Yeah,
like the Devin Hester is a fleeting memory.
Yeah.
It's a fleeting moment, right?
The Cavaliers, that game 7, I watched a couple times a year. And then I watched that segment that the last 3 minutes I watched fairly often.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you face yourself every morning? How do you look yourself in the mirror, rooting for a division rival?
There's no rivalries in freaking basketball, man. The divisions don't matter in basketball.
At that point, there was no real rivalry between the Bulls and the Cavs. If you were talking about the Heat, then I see it because the Derrick Rose
LeBron, that was the rivalry because we just couldn't stand the fact.
But at that point in 2016, that rivalry was pretty much done and dusted.
So what about just the fact that LeBron was the guy that your guys are going up against the Eastern Conference Finals? You're saying that you are able to root for LeBron. No matter what he I respect
I think
LeBron.
LeBron's the greatest player of all time. What do you mean?
I do too. I would never gargle his balls like the way that you do.
Yeah, but he's never. A Bronsexual. He's been a Bronsexual.
I have all his jerseys from every team. I don't even have that for
Wase would wear this. I'll never forget Wase wearing the T-shirt jersey.
I love that T-shirt jersey from the finals. Oh my god,
he looked like a male cheerleader.
The
college football 25
jerseys were so nice, man. I wish they still made those, man.
I'm sure you do, man. I'm
beat
sure
up,
you do.
Man. I want a new one. So
I wonder why I got beat up.
Shows off the rim.
Just look at it.
Oh my god!
Lay down over my bed.
All right, get as far away from there.
All right. I wasn't into sports when I was a young kid, but I have a memory of when Wase and I were real young. I was watching the 2004 finals at his house. That was pretty funny because I remember Wase was like, "Kobe's got us," and they're like 20 down at the end of the game, and I was just like, no, we're gonna win. But again, there was no connection there. It was just a good memory that some team from our area ended up winning something. So that was pretty good.
That's your highest?
No, that's not my highest. I just wanted I wanted to bring it up.
Okay,
I just wanted to give it a shout out. The second thing I wanted to give it a shout out to before I get to the euphoric feeling is, again, I wasn't really into sports, but 2006 is around the time that I'm starting to watch more and more. And the Tigers walking off in game 4 of the ALCS.
Yes.
I remember me and my brother yelling, Tigers are going to the World Series.
That was sick.
There was a little bit of talk about the Tigers resurgence that year, and I was actually dialed in, so that was a good feeling there. But the one that I'm going to bring up, obviously, is the playoff game against the Rams. I was there. Obviously, we didn't win anything, but for what it meant to Detroit, the Lions kind of getting the monkey off their back in terms of not winning a playoff game.
The recent one, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Rashawn McVay sold and could have won the game, but he sold.
Damn.
He could have won that game, but he decided to kick it, punt it on with 4 minutes left in the game. Fucking idiot.
Yeah, he wasn't confident in his team. That's okay.
So were you more? That one's higher than the Bucks one?
So yes, because I felt like the Bucks was kind of in the bag, right? I was pretty confident about that. I think the Rams were the scary team, right? They're as a 6 seed, the Rams coming in, that's not an easy out. And then the thing is, I remember when we were in the stadium, is that the Lions actually get the first down. Now I don't have the commentators on my side here to help us out, but I think everyone in our area is sure, we got one more first down that we have to get. And then they're in victory formation. And then you can kind of see everyone in the crowd realize, no, we won. We already won. And then you could see people are crying, people who don't know each other, they're hugging. This is things that has never happened in their lifetime. And everyone is just, it was a big moment of all right, we had the division title. We got the home playoff game, and then all of a sudden, the victory as well. Yeah, that was one of the best moments of my life.
Damn, that's a good one.
I don't think I have a Mount Rushmore for this.
Really?
I don't think so.
Do you, Otto?
Mount Rushmore of games overall, I do.
Yeah. That gave you such a great feeling.
I thought
Great
it was like,
games,
Yes.
like
moments,
championship
whatever.
winning games. I was like,
Not
So,
just
so I
championships,
actually did two exercises. I did top games as a Lions fan, and then top games in general, but I limited it to the NFL.
Just do your in general because you're the first one that mentioned an NFL game.
Okay, so I thought that, and I'm not going to say euphoric, I just felt like games that will always be in my memory, like they're just like etched in my memory.
I think like what Wase said about those games that you literally will just like turn on and rewatch because they just make you
I could
happy.
do these with these games. Obviously, I prefer all the Lions ones over what I'm about to say, but I wanted to keep it Sans Lions for this one. So Rams Chiefs 2018 was one of the best games that I've seen. I just remember.
I think we did this activity like not too long ago.
No, that was games, like great games. This is personal. It gives you the feeling. Like your games should not be my games because they should have no relation.
That was the epitome of football. I think Rams Chiefs, like two of the best teams in the league. One for the NFC, one for the AFC.
That was the epitome of offense.
Yeah. I mean, it was two great offenses going against each other. And then at the end of the day, defensive plays actually ended up making the game or sealing the game for the Rams. The other thing here is what's etched in my mind. Richard Sherman after they beat the 49ers, never put a sorry receiver like Crabtree on, or never put a sorry receiver like that on me. And who? Crabtree. That's the funniest memory I have. And it was a great game. I was so happy that game happened. It was high-level football. Love to see that. I think the other thing, when we were all rooting for Peyton Manning to get over the hump, and I think it was Bob Sanders. Was it Bob Sanders who sealed it with the pick?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like Patriots were coming off they've been cheating. I think that was the year of Spygate. I'm not, or maybe the year after it was Spygate.
Spygate was 2009.
2008.
It may have been.
Yeah.
But I think they already had allegations of
Maybe.
that they had done some inappropriate things at that point, but and they were the dynasty at that point. So nobody wanted to see that happen. Nobody wanted to see the Colts going down against the Patriots in their own house. That was pretty cool. Another thing that's etched in my memory is a Russell Wilson moonball to Jermaine Kearse to end the game in OT against the Packers after throwing 4 interceptions in the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, that was, and obviously you Bears fans were hate watching, so I mean that must have been elation for you guys.
You were probably happy too watching that.
I mean, you guys hate the Packers way more than me. We beat the Packers.
Is it just a sports like NFL, NBA, or the Khabib Conor fight? I think that's one of the greatest fights ever in modern history.
Wow, yeah.
That one was.
You watch that?
I watched that one at least once or twice a year. Just like the compilation of like the build up to like the actual fight to the
weigh-in,
fight.
the hype video, the weigh-in,
the press
everything.
conferences, everything.
That was honestly one of the best promoted matches I think I've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah, because I mean, it's also at a time when the UFC was at an all-time high.
Yeah, and Conor
star power was there. Conor really elevated it.
Two of the best fighters in the world, probably at the time, going at it. And Wasi and I were actually at a family retreat. No cell phone signal, but we had dish. We had the dish connection, and
awesome.
Honestly, it was the way that our entire family tripped out. It wasn't just us. Nobody else was watching UFC except for probably Haroon and myself.
Yeah,
everybody.
Being avid fans, I wasn't an avid fan of it. I'm not even saying I'm an avid fan now, but like just that fight, like everyone understood the magnitude of that fight.
Yeah,
like what it meant for like this racist, like it's like the symbolism of like the racist white guy, and then you have like this Muslim character who is just very kind, very disciplined, just a good Muslim person, and like there's nothing that Conor can do to really battle his like iman or anything like that, and like him finally being victorious and in the stage of battle, then being ruthless and like violent. It was just like what I don't know, like you think of like as like a true Muslim warrior.
It was a culmination of everything that you would have hoped happened.
And then the drama at the end. Oh, Dylan Dennis like getting kicked. Oh man, I love that stuff. So
you know what's hilarious about that? When he jumped into the crowd, everybody's like, "This is terrible! I can't believe this happened." And we were
all so excited
watching WWE.
Yeah.
They're like desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, going back to like more personal stuff, Manchester City is my favorite football team in the world. Actually, Wase and Aldo were part of this journey too. So Manchester City won their first Premier League title since like the 70s in 2012. Greatest moments you'll ever see. It's still to this day the most revered and memorable game-winning goal in Premier League history. Sergio Aguero in the final minutes of the entire season, because they don't have playoffs, right? They just do a season. Whoever has the most points is your champion. Sergio Aguero scores a goal in stoppage time. They were down 2 goals. They needed to score 2 goals in stoppage time. They got them both. And then every year since 2012, they've basically created a super team and always touted as the best team in Europe, but could never win the Champions League. They couldn't even make it to the Champions League final, just like the Cowboys, proverbially like choking away in every single high stakes Champions League final, Champions League semifinal, knockout stage, whatever. 2021, we're at Wase's bachelor trip in Michigan.
Oh yeah,
at the cabin, and I am forcing this group of like 12 dudes who don't know the game at all to watch Manchester City in the Champions League final for the first time. And it's literally just me standing like at the TV.
No one knew what was going on.
No one knew what was going on. And they lose to Chelsea in the Champions League final in Sergio Aguero's last game. Man City legend, last game at the club. They lost 1-0 on the stupidest Kai Havertz right before half slipped in a goal. It was terrible. And all these guys, like, credit to them, just sitting there for 90 minutes and just watching something that you do not give 2 shits about while your friend is standing there, like, about to cry, his pants sweating. That's props. And then in 2023, after 2 exits against Real Madrid, back-to-back years, they finally have a tie where they beat Real Madrid at home in Manchester in the semifinals, one of the best games. Again, kind of it's interesting because for me at least, the championship is great, but the journey getting there is so memorable. Like you watch all the games that it took to get there, similar to the Cubs in the NLCS, and they beat Real Madrid 4-1, I think it was. No, I think it was 4-0. And it was just a thrashing, like start to finish, a great game. And then I had my Mandy. So my Mandy was a Friday. I was actually supposed to fly to Istanbul for the Champions League final, but I had my wedding.
You ended up getting married.
So I had my Mandy, Shandy, and then the Champions League final and my Valima the next day. It was like the best 3-day stretch because they ended up winning Champions League final against Inter Milan in 2023. One of the best feelings. First of all, getting married is cool. But then also on top of that, just having that win happen right there. And even at my like Mandy entrance, like my cousin walked out with the flags. So awesome. It was great. It was just like those championship moments, especially with that, like, I don't know what it is. I think God blessed me with just like rooting for just heartbreaking teams. Like teams that will just wrench your heart out. With the Cubs not winning in 108 years. With Man City, who hadn't won since the 70s, and then win, but then they couldn't win a Champions League at all for, 13 years at that point that I've been watching. And then this next one is Oklahoma. Oklahoma loses in the most heartbreaking ways. I watched them get destroyed by USC, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush's USC. I watched then Vince Young in Texas go on to beat them the next year. I watched them lose to Tim Tebow in the BCS National Championship. And then, like, the Boise State game we talked about, again, just heartbreak. The Georgia game we talked about in one of the best playoff semifinals of all time. There was a point in 2021 where it's the best, probably, rivalry game in the entire country. They played at a neutral site, Oklahoma, Texas, in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Spencer Rattler's our starting quarterback. And Texas goes up 28-7 after the first quarter. And they could do nothing wrong. Xavier Worthy was getting balls just thrown to him, chucked up in the air, and he was coming down with everything. And I remember it was like Casey Thompson was the Texas quarterback, just balled out. Jonathan Brooks was part of that game. Bijan Robinson balled out in that game. That one like snippet that they took during the entire Bijan draft profile, and even after his first year, was this one run in that game against Oklahoma where he like cut back and then cut the entire way around the field. And then in the second quarter, I believe it was the second quarter, like midway through the second quarter, Spencer Rattler fumbles the ball, and Lincoln Riley had seen enough, and he brings in a true freshman, Caleb Williams. And this is kind of like the Justin Fields like Clemson game. This is going to be brought up by us our entire lives. But that throw that Caleb makes to Marvin Mims on 3rd and 19, evading the sack, stepping up in the pocket, and just launching one of the most beautiful balls I've ever seen. And I really thought, like, that's the guy. Like, this is going to be the guy that is going to take this program and elevate it in the next year. Of course, the Lincoln Riley exodus. But it's funny, that 3rd and 19, Oklahoma ended up coming all the way back and winning the game on a walk-off Kennedy Brooks run. Direct snap, 40-something yard run. And Caleb Williams just balled out. He had like 200 yards in the second half. He drops the ball, throws touchdowns. He was throwing some wild touchdowns to Marvin Mims. But the 3rd and 19 was reminiscent of the Packers game when Caleb evades a sack, rolls to his right, and fires to Rome Odunze on a 3rd and 19.
That one was a
That's just, it was just like Caleb Williams' arrival to the national spotlight.
Like, he's clutch.
And he's got it. Especially like as that being your first taste of football. But yeah.
The only other moment I could think of that I was like, it was like an aha moment. And I was young when this happened. It was the 2005 White Sox.
Ew, what the hell?
And I'll tell you why. I didn't follow baseball, but it was like the first time of me actually like being old enough to remember a Chicago team being in the championship of any sort.
You don't remember the Bulls at all?
I remember but I was like too young. I didn't appreciate it. Like 98, I was only 5 years old. You know, like you're not really appreciating it.
I remember like there was like
we
the
didn't
Bulls,
have cable either, so
the Bulls like entrance.
Yeah.
We didn't have cable.
Yeah, and everything was on TNT, so we never got to watch it. Like,
Was it on TNT?
Not the finals,
on
but
ABC?
like the playoffs. They always happen, so we never got to really watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No. The playoffs were never on WGN. The playoffs are always on TNT.
ABC?
The finals were on ABC. See, this is how you guys know you guys didn't watch basketball back then. But they're always on ABC. The finals were. TNT was usually the playoffs, like it is in today's day and age, because they had such a long contract. But anyways, like, so you didn't really grow up loving it, and you didn't really grow up like watching it, because at 3 or 4 years old, you don't have appreciation for that type of stuff.
That's true. But I also feel like you don't have that at 10 or 11.
At 10 or 11, at least you can remember the moments. Like Paul
I
Konerko's grand slam in game whatever the hell it was. I'm just like, wow. Like, that was such a cool moment for me as a kid. Like, I'd never watched baseball. I'm like, I was watching when that happened. We were at Shoaib and what's your name? Sakina's husband.
Yeah.
We were at their house watching that. A bunch of like 5 people who've never watched baseball in their life were watching that all together just because it was the Chicago White Sox in the World Series, the biggest stage of them all. And that was like a really cool moment. I'll never forget that moment. I remember exactly where I was, and it was like, oh, this is like a very clutch moment in the game, or whatever it is. So, bases loaded, grand slam just feels like it just doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And I never watched
Just the
baseball
World Series.
beforehand, and to see that happen, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
I feel like I don't enjoy like the full extent of like the Bears Super Bowl run because it was when I was 11 versus like I've experienced, alhamdulillah, I've experienced like championship success later on in life.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
I think that 2006. I was just a huge Bears fan, so I that was like everything to me. And I was 13, so it's like you can appreciate it a little bit more.
The stuff you get, I feel like the stuff that it takes a long time to get to, and then you're in your late teens, early 20s, and you finally taste it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to replicate that.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about it, if the Cubs won the World Series this year, it wouldn't feel the same as it did in 2016.
No, of course, yeah. I think like the what's that word?
The payoff always is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
what
always
makes it
better.
happen.
Yeah.
Like the Miami championships didn't feel the same as like the Cleveland championship did.
Yeah.
Jesus, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
like it didn't feel the same. Like when he won in Cleveland, I felt like I won for Cleveland. I can't explain to you the feelings that I had. Like I was like in tears just because like LeBron had got the monkey off his back. You know, like it just, I don't know. I just get emotional thinking about it.
You were the monkey on the back.
I almost feel like the same with Caleb. Like, the Bears have been so bad for so long. They've never been able to climb that mountaintop and actually win.
We'll see. It's a little early.
But with Caleb as their quarterback, it would just mean that much more.
It would. It would mean a lot that we finally have a quarterback and a coaching staff that can, be respectable in the league, in the league that we've never seen a good offense.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for that. We just got to see.
Yeah. All right. Well, that about does it for our show today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love our producer, Talha, for Wase and Adil. I'm Nadim. We'll see you next week.
Wow. That was a 2-week